you good? Welcome everybody. For those of you that don't know Lord Spagna, we have plenty of materials to give you in between because I want you to walk with something good. You are here for a great surprise. If you haven't worked with her, I have the pleasure to be working with her for years, although it has been long distance via the videos that she posts in YouTube and her webpage. Since she's been here, we went to Oklahoma City, and I have to tell you that experience is unbelievable, especially on this one that you're going to experience tonight. I was buzzing after she was done, so that's always a good indicator, right, for those that we want to feel. And we got a great feedback from people over there. They loved it. So I'm really glad that you guys made time for this. Saturday and Sunday, she's going to be at the Center of Light. So please come, bring your friends, because you know how energy works. That's to your body and to your soul. So welcome, everybody. She's, of course, bestseller author. Many books that are already available in Amazon, right? And not to mention, of course, the long time years that she has doing DNA, working with DNA activation to Ascension and Animal Communicator. I know that her passion is to help everyone to this Ascension process, and it's many people out there that they can teach you something. She does not hold back any information or anything that can help you to be moving forward on this journey. So you are in good hands. Please help me welcome Lori.
That's so nice, Carolina. Thank you so much for that introduction. And you guys, thanks for being here. I'm really excited about it. I love doing this work. I love it so much. I love it so much. I cannot begin to tell you how much I love what I do, and I'm so grateful that I get to do it. So thanks for being here, because it's because of you guys showing up that I can do it. So, and thanks you guys at Energistic for hosting. You guys have been fabulous.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, it's great for everyone. So, all right, so I'm going to give you a little bit of background on me. I don't want to go too much into my background, but it's a bit of a story. And then, especially since there's a lot of people who don't know me. And then after that, we're going to talk about what's going on with Ascension and the shift of consciousness and evolution, and how we're shifting out of an old paradigm and into a new paradigm. What's going on planet Earth. And then we'll take a break, and then we'll do about a good 45-minute healing meditation. 45 minutes, even to up to an hour. I usually go over. And during the healing meditation, there's a channeling where whoever comes forward is usually, very often, it's beings who are already connected to you guys. So a lot of times we get Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Mary of Magdalene comes in. And I don't always know who's going to show up. A lot of times it's our star family, depending on who's in the group. We'll talk about this. Sometimes we have Jesus come in, or other ascended masters. It just depends. But we're always working with Source, and Source does the healing. So we'll have that part for the last part, and there'll be parts where you'll get to request what you want healing on, and we'll get to it. But that will be the final part of our evening, and then we'll complete. So that's kind of the flow. We have up to 3 hours. But we'll have a break in between. So let me, for those of you, and I'm sorry for those of you guys who heard it last night, it's a little different story for the animal part, because I don't include the animal part quite as much, but just to give you a heads up on where this information's coming from and the energy, and to know who I am. So I'll give you a little bit of my story. So I always say that I was seated here as what I call a starseed. Who's familiar with that terminology, starseed? Okay, good. So for those of you who aren't, I'll explain what a starseed is. But my story is that I grew up, I went to college like everybody, and I graduated. Hello, come on in. And when I graduated, I started working in corporate America. I kind of lived my father's dream for me, not because that's all he knew, and he was like, you go to college and then you go to work. And from the first week I went to work, I knew I was miserable. I knew I wasn't going to be into it. And I remember crying every night for like years and years and years to help me get out of there. And my father would say things like, you stick it out. And I was like a good girl, and I was really, he was a very controlling kind of a guy, but not in a bad way. It's just that's his belief system. And he kept enforcing what he thought was right onto me. And I gave him my power in that way. So after 20 years in corporate America, what ended up happening was I became a smoker of 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and I started drinking alcohol like 8 beers a day because I was numbing myself. You know, I was so miserable that that was the way I was coping with my life. And I was doing shock therapy. So I had built up $150,000 of debt on credit card, bad credit card debt on multiple credit cards, and I was drinking massive amounts of coffee to get through the day, like 2 pots all day long, coffee, cigarettes, coffee, cigarettes, coffee, cigarette, and then all night drinking, and weekends was shopping, and then I was really overweight, because, you know, weight a lot of times is like our need for protection or our sensitivity or this stuffed repressed emotions. My thyroid was completely thrown off, because thyroid has to do with how we express ourselves in the world. That's what this, you know, and feeling safe to be who we are. It wasn't safe to be me. I was suppressing. So all this was off. And my hair was falling off because my hormones were out of balance, because of course I was not only suppressing my truth and feeling unsafe, but in that suppression I was secretly angry. Why the hormones, like this is the mind-body connection, which we'll get into tonight, hormones get thrown off when the whore, the woman inside, the female, not that we're whores, but is moaning. And we're not listening to that inner feminine, and we're suppressing it, and then we're secretly, on some level, angry at the masculine. Okay, we don't acknowledge that that's what's at the root of it, but in some level, my whole body was off, let's just say. It was responding to how I felt inside, and the body was thrown off. So all this was going on. I was going to doctors. They were pumping me up with massive doses of pharmaceutical drugs that you could line up the bottles like this many in a row, and a whole glass of cocktails. It was like multicolors, multiple times a day. This was only adding to the problems and making it worse. Hello. And so this went on for almost many years, me crying every night, and I had this mantra in my head was I wanted to be of service to animals on a global scale. I did not understand that meant humans too, that humans are animals. I thought I was going to be a dog trainer. And I wanted God to be my boss. I did not like the patriarchy, because, you know, our society is set up that this is not to be men haters, it's a patriarchal system that's at the global elites, at the very echelons, at the top of the top. They are the richest 100 of men who get in rooms and get together and decide, and they control the money system and the banking system, and they control the governments, and they control, there's no making them wrong, it's just, that's what was going on. So I wanted God to be my boss, and I wanted to help animals on a global scale, and I was always a truth seeker. I always wanted the truth. So flash forward, what happens 20 years later is my brother dies of an unexpected drug overdose. And after he died, very soon after, I started getting messages from him. And I started hearing him in my head like he was alive, almost like, hey Lois, your dead brother Jeff. And I would laugh because he wasn't dead. To him it was a joke. He was a funny guy in life, and he was funny after life too. And first I thought I was pretty crazy, you know, but I did what people do, like, I think I'm hearing this voice, and if I am, you're gonna need to give me a sign. So, you know, sign after sign after sign, and you keep giving test after test, not because it's like, prove it to me, but more because it's like, I don't know if I'm going crazy here, can you just, if I'm really getting a message, can you just help me know what the heck is? And there was like test after test, and he just kept getting it, and then I remember the final one was, I was walking down the streets in Los Angeles, come on in, welcome back. And as I'm walking down the streets, and I remember, I had never heard of a Herkimer diamond at that point, I didn't even know, but his dog was named Herkimer. So I thought, that is a name I would never see anywhere. So if it's really you, Jeff, this is really you. Because like the other little things, they were too easily dismissible, all those other things. But I'm walking down the street, and I'm thinking, and I hear stop, and I hear it 3 times, and I stop, and I'm like, look up, I hear look up, and I look up, and there is a sign Herkimer Diner. And I thought, that's it, I'm done. Like, I don't even know how that happened. So I started listening to the voice of my brother, and he's like, hey, Lori, you're next. You gotta get off this hamster wheel, Lori, because you're next. You're going down the same path I was going down. I mean, it wasn't the same. He was really doing drugs and alcohol abuse, but you could see that I was on a similar kind of abusing things to suppress and deny. So I took the message. I started working with it. I started working with that voice, listening, and I also was a lover of animals, so I started learning from animals. I became a dog trainer. I quit my 6-figure job, and I became a dog trainer. I started hearing the animals tell me, you listen, and I will teach you. And that's what I started doing. I got really good at listening and watching with my inner mind things that made no sense to me, and I was putting it together. And I didn't have anyone training me at any of it, but basically what I tried to talk to my then husband a little bit about it, and he was like, oh no, I'm out of here, out of. So divorce, you know, flash forward, and I'm like, I just one day wake up and I hear, I'm going to Maui. I don't know what I was thinking. What was I thinking? It was insane, right? But everything was happening, and I knew I was going to quit smoking. I was going to quit smoking. I was going to quit drinking. I was going to quit alcohol. I was going to quit pharmaceutical drugs. I was going to make God my boss. I knew I was a good dog trainer because I was doing that. And I was going to get healthy and drop the 65 pounds. And God was going to help me. Jesus, take the wheel. I was singing that song every other day. It was when it first came out. It didn't even first come out, but I somehow got turned on to it. Anyway, whatever. Maybe it first came out. Whatever. I go to Maui. I become a dog trainer. I lost everything. I mean, I lost everything, you know? But I was doing the meditating through the night, all night long, and I went to these healing circles once a week, and we would practice all kinds of esoteric healing, and I had this incredible master who was teaching me things, how to flip tables by looking at them, and how to leave my body without not astral travel, all kinds of things. I couldn't believe we're waking. I'm going to sacred dance classes and dancing with women naked, and you know, I'm having my awakening, you know. And I remember at one point running through the streets of Maui, I've been enlightened. I sat with 2 amazing healers. Anyone ever heard of Gangaji and Eli Jackson Bear? Okay, well, I sat with them, incredible teachers. I remember being in the room with them, and they were like, you're dreaming. This is a dream. This is a dream. We're all dreaming. We think this is real. Does anyone not know that? This is your awakening. This is your enlightenment. We are dreaming. We think this is all real. We are creator having a dream, so we think this is real. You know, so I go running through the streets of Maui. I've been enlightened, and that was just the beginning, because after that, I'd look up at the stars at night, meditate through the night, and I'd see ships. I don't know what the heck. I saw real ships, and I just thought they were all nice. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know anything from anything, and I would be, oh, if I could be of service, let me know. So I got beamed up to a ship. This is like not in my dreams. This is not a meditation. I'm on a ship, and I'm like, what is going on here? And I start getting this information downloaded into my consciousness, and some of it's like, what's that when you see stuff across the screen, just going across your, and that's what it was. It's like, I couldn't make sense of it. Patterns and words and numbers and things, and I was like, what is this? What is this? I asked for years, and I always would get, you'll know when the time comes. And now I get it. So that was effectively a version of myself from the future, my star family from the stars, who met me at this neutral place in Maui, where nobody knew me and I didn't know anybody, where I was wide open. And the old version of me was like braided into this new version, like united, right? So I still had my old memories, but all that was taken from me, cleared every aspect of who I was to be united with every aspect of who I was becoming. So that as I come into alignment with that, I'd be able to help others to remember too. Because we're all here to remember. So anyway, flash forward at the end of 2 years of living in Maui. I lost everything, but I did, I cleared my debt. I cleared the alcohol, no more drinking. I still don't drink at all, really almost all. no more smoking, I never smoke anymore, lost 65 pounds of body weight, gave up the caffeine, you know, now I'll still drink some coffee, but it all came into balance. The banks were sending me letters saying, your debt is dismissed, we forgive your debt. And then I started from scratch, lost everything, but started from scratch. My dog died, and that was it. That was my hit the floor moment. I'm done, I can't do another thing. So anyway, that's my story. And then from there, I started building a business. It started out as animal communication classes and workshops and teaching that. And then as I continued doing what I do, I became more of a healer. I already had my Reiki master in Hawaii. And then I started developing more and more of these esoteric gifts. And eventually I realized the whole purpose was to help people through this point of linear time where we're at, help people and animals to awaken. So this period of time where we're at now, this major shift, this is what we're going to talk about tonight. And then this is where we're going to go with the healing through the meditation. Does that make sense? So, all right, that's my story. I know that's kind of a bit, but... So let's talk about this evolutionary time that's going on planet Earth. Has anyone heard about this? Do you guys understand this concept?
Yes.
Who has no idea what I'm talking about? And Sam, I'll probably point to you a lot of times. But who has no idea what this is? Who's never heard of it besides Sam? Okay. Okay, who knows what the term ascension means? And who doesn't know what that term means? Okay. All right, so a lot of people refer to it as ascension. So what this is who remembers 2012 being called like the end of the world? Okay, so 2012 was the end of the old reality. But since then, there's been an overlap because we're now in a whole new reality, which we're going to discuss today. But nobody knows it. Most people don't know it. So they're still functioning as if it's the old reality. And they're recreating that old reality. But as we all are waking up to realize we're in a new reality, we start realizing, 2012 was the end of that old world. We just haven't known it. So this process is an evolutionary process, and it's happening globally. The entire planet is being affected by this. And in fact, beyond the planet, our entire galaxy is being affected by this. That includes other planets in our galaxy, and other stars and star systems. And actually beyond our galaxy, our entire universe. And beyond our universe, our entire multiverse, which is multiple universes, which create multiple dimensions of reality. Okay, that's so esoteric, right? But is everyone with me from a concept point of view? Mm-hmm. Now here's how we know this is real and true, is that if we look at our current political system, is it dramatically collapsing and changing and not working and transforming? Can we agree that that's true? Mm-hmm. It's so political. Can we look at our cultural society, that our culture is completely, dramatically changing? Now it's normal for women to change their bodies to men to change their bodies to women. We're starting to see how important it is for us to step up and be of service to one another rather than me, me, me. Can we see that culturally? Can we see spiritually, if we look at religions, world religions, are they dramatically changing, world religions? Can we see that? Dramatic changes? Is everyone in agreement with me? Yes. Can we see financially? That's pretty obvious. Dramatic changes happening financially. Can we see geographically? Dramatic changes in terms of weather, climate, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes,
fires,
volcanoes, fires, drought. This is climate physically. Can we see how across, have I missed any personally? Are we all waking up in some way, starting to realize things that we never knew before? How many people became healers or intuitives or started to get turned on to this stuff within the last couple of years? We're all relatively new to it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is spiritual change. It's personal change. Are we starting to realize different things about our bodies that we never knew? Like before, we always thought the doctor knows. We'll go to the doctor. But now we're like, I don't think the doctor knows that. I gotta learn how to take care of myself. That's another kind of change, right? Can we all agree that there's these massive changes going on across every aspect of our existence. That's so big, we can't pretend it's not happening. It is happening. Do we see that? Yeah. Can we even, if we even go into the grocery stores, we can see there's a big movement towards, I can see it. If you're a health food nut, you will definitely see it. More and more green juices, Whole Foods types of stores. They just started popping up basically since 2012, right? So we're being called to eat healthier foods, take better care. I mean, who heard of chia seeds 10 years ago? Did you? Does anyone like chia seeds? Who heard of hemp? Are we all starting to realize, like, yeah, radiation actually doesn't cure cancer, but maybe hemp oil will? Are we seeing this is happening across every part of our existence? So even if we don't know that it's happening, even if we've never heard the word ascension, if we look at our reality, we can say there's big, massive changes that are affecting us globally. And this is not just happening in Oklahoma or just in the United States or just in big cities. No, it's happening across all planets. I mean, all the planet. And other planets too, by the way. So, does anyone have any questions about that so far? Or is anyone still maybe unsure of what I mean when I say this is what ascension, this is the term. Ascension means to ascend, to, what does ascend mean? To wake up, to come into some form of ascending, up, enlightenment, some kind of transformation of our consciousness. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So this is what I'm saying is happening, and we're all starting to become aware that it's not woo-woo anymore. It's not just some kind of esoteric concept. It's not even just a spiritual, it's just that spiritual people are the ones who are most open-minded right now to this stuff. But it doesn't mean it's not happening, even though we know there's probably at least 2/3 of the population who still has no idea this is going on. No idea. Yeah? Everyone with me? Questions, comments so far? I love questions, I love comments. Anyone? No? You guys gonna be quiet?
How do you feel about so fars?
How do I feel about what?
So fars, you said comments, questions. How do you feel about
Oh, so fars.
I was making a joke, yeah.
Oh, okay, so fars are good. I got a question back here though, so I'm gonna go.
Oh, I have a comment. I have a cleaning business, and I clean for a lot of people who are, just regular people. And I have noticed a trend just in the last year of people having either salt lamps or
Yes.
oils, essential
Yes.
oils. It's like everybody I
Yes.
clean for suddenly has essential oils.
Yes.
It cracks me. Oh, and I've also noticed people having, stones sitting around their house.
Yes.
Like
That's a perfect
quartz
example.
and
Yes.
and crystals.
Because
And it's
actually
like,
what we're
and they don't
becoming.
even know why they have them. They just
Right.
have them. It's like, it's cracking me
Right.
up.
Well, I just say the crystals have intelligence.
Mhm.
They are actually intelligent in and of themselves, and so are flowers, all of earth and all animals. So the essential oils are coming from those flowers, right?
But
And the crystals, I just taught a whole class on crystal consciousness, and I'm bringing a group to Arkansas to dig for crystals. And what I have received from crystal consciousness is that these are time capsules. Not all of them, but especially the Lemurian ones, but they all have intelligence, so that they're time capsules that are put here in the center of Earth, in the inner Earth, by us in the future, our generations in the future, who are us, aspects of us, put here to help us remember who we are, and that they hold information that we're able to access when we learn to connect with them. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
yeah.
So, okay. So that's part of what we're going to do in Arkansas when we go there. All right, so this is ascension. This is the process when somebody calls ascension. Now, what is that? What does all of this mean? What does it mean when the old reality is over and the new reality is coming in? So our old reality, I call that third dimensional reality. Yeah? What is 3 dimensions? What does that mean? Who knows? Or wants to take a guess? Nobody?
Height, width, depth.
Yeah, that's right.
Dimensions of a cube.
That's right. That is a dimension of reality. That's one dimension of reality, actually.
That's
Height, space. Exactly. Yes, time is a function of space, because today to tomorrow, space. That's just a dimension. And I wouldn't even include time as a dimension, though some people do. people refer to it. That's not what was downloaded into my consciousness, but still, that's space. Okay, what are the other two dimensions in third dimensional reality? Can you hear my voice? Sound. First was the word, and then there was light. Let there be light. That's the third one. Light, sound, and space. So in this third dimensional reality, which is the reality that we've all been living in, the only thing that's real is physicality. We've been exploring material, physical existence. This is a real physical box, but it's not God. We go to religion and we learn everything is God. God's everywhere, but not in the tissues. You know what I mean? Not in the animals. They're not sentients, right? But so what we believe is everything's physical. And if it's physical, it's real. But if it's not physical, if we can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, it's not real. If we can't use our five senses, it's not real. That's third dimensional reality, because space is the only thing that exists. The distance between you and me is a real distance. There's no God in between here. There's no energy between us. Not in that reality. Everyone with me? If I can't hear it, it's not real. If I can't see it, angels, you're woo-woo. Angels aren't real because I can't see them. Can we all agree? That's the old paradigm. And actually, everybody in that paradigm, if you walk down the street and say, hey, I talk to angels, they're going to be like, you're a little woo-woo. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, that paradigm is what ended in 2012. But the thing is that everything that controls that paradigm, which I call universal laws, those laws still are controlling our new paradigm. And the number one law in that paradigm, even though it's not really followed very well in that paradigm, it still reigns supreme, is the law of free will. So in this paradigm, that law of free will is still here. So if you have a free will conscious or unconscious thought or choice, I'm not going to pay attention to it. I'm just unconsciously believing everything I ever believed is still true, real, and right. You're just going to still keep creating that experience. Does this make sense to everybody?
Mhm.
Okay. So let's go from 3D to 4D to 5D, because where we are right now is actually what I call 5D. So what's 4D? I usually jump over 4D, but what's 4D?
Soul?
Could say that. 4D is everything that's non-physical. So in order to wake up from here, you have to start realizing that stuff that's non-physical is real. You have to actually start saying, maybe there are angels, maybe they are real, but maybe because I didn't know I was living in 3D, that anything was, only stuff that was real was physical. I mean, what is a thought? Where does a thought start and where does a thought end? Well, 4D. It's non-physical, but it's still energy. It's a form of energy, right? What about an emotion? If I have an emotion, if I'm angry or upset, and then somebody else is around me, they're going to feel that too, right? It might rub off on them if they're carrying density or heavy emotions, anger, resentment, judgment, blame. I could be around them and I can feel it. It's not really even mine. Well, that's a non-physical thing, but it's real, right? That's 4D. And actually, if you think about time, some people say time is fourth dimension. It's true, because time is a creation of our concepts, because that's why some people are like, time goes so fast, because in your consciousness, time is going fast. And other people, it's like, you stay dragged. Same 24 hours, but for one person it was like an eternity, and another person it was like 2 minutes, right? It's a concept. It's a non-physical thing that we believed and perceived. What would time be if you took away a clock, a watch, a calendar, a date book? What would time be? What would it be? Now! So, by the way, has anyone noticed that time seems to be speeding up? And what do we say in 3D? What do we say in 3D? When you get older, time speeds up?
Yes.
Like, what ridiculousness is that? We make up, this is us wanting to be in denial. This is what I was talking about before. We want to just, what is that? You get older, so time speed, like, where is the actual A to B logic in that? When you get older, time speeds up. What? If we really rationalize, if we really think about that, why is that true? Like, that's not true. What happens is, Ascension is happening, and this fourth dimension, we are coming into it. We're merging with it, and so the consciousness comes into oneness, no more space and time. Space and time still exists. We still have third dimension. I'm still in my body, you're in yours, and yet our consciousness is shifting because we realize we're connected through energy. Some form of energy, which is a frequency, right? And by the way, of course, we know science confirms this, right? Quantum physics confirms this. They used to call it string theory. And then they basically said you can't disprove string theory. And now they just know it's called the God particle. Have you guys heard about this? The God particle. That all there is just energetic frequencies that are all connected in one huge particle. So we're all aspects of one huge particle that science calls the God particle. They even use the word God. That's funny, right? Okay, so do we understand in fourth dimension, when somebody who we love passes over, crosses over, leaves their physical form behind, they drop the physical and they become non-physical, where do they go?
Other side.
Where?
I call it the other side.
Okay, well, what is the other side?
Different dimension.
Yeah, what dimension is it? 4D. 4D. Now, they don't stay in 4D. Understand this is a non-physical realm. To me, it's kind of like Grand Central Station. You ever pass through Grand Central Station? You don't really hang out there. You're basically like, where's my train and where am I going? Did anyone see that movie with Meryl Streep and Albert, I can't remember his last name, Brooks?
Oh
What was that movie?
It's one of my favorites.
I love that movie, right?
Yeah.
They're on different trains, and her train's going to Happiness and Joyville, and his train is going like, go back and repeat.
Defending your life.
Defending your life, right? Which is, to me, everything I know from the non-physical realm, really accurate to a large degree. Because she's the only one, there's never anyone in the room when she's reviewing her life. And same for him, they're just reviewing their own life and deciding how they feel about it. Okay, nonetheless, 4D. So I understood this, I learned this from my brother, because one of the things he said was, Lori, I need to move on. I can't be stuck here. I need someone to help me to move on because I'm too heavy. I need to be of service, to give some love. And through your love is going to help me to move on into the higher realms, so to speak. Now, what does religion call 4D?
Heaven.
Purgatory.
Purgatory. Because if you commit suicide, you can get stuck here. Why? You can become a ghost if you die and don't know you died. There's ghosts there. You could become a non-physical being who's lost their way. What is the Tibetan Book of the Dead? Anyone read that? You have to find their way through the bardos. That's another term for purgatory. It's fourth dimension. You get in Grand Central Station, you don't know where you're going, and you don't know the trains or system. You're like, give me some help. I got to get out of here, right? Got to get home. So 4D to me is a temporary energetic space where all of non-physical reality exists. And the objective, when you cross over, sorry, I keep putting my hand on my heart because there's a lot of heart coherence in the room that's out of coherence. Could I have some water, please?
Absolutely.
Sorry, thank you. So, my heart can feel all your hearts. And certain hearts are starting to open, and they're not fully opened yet. So this is good for everyone in the room. For me, it's a little difficult. Thank you. It's not the flowers at all. They're beautiful. I just have to. Okay, so this just goes with being insensitive, you know? You can feel everybody's stuff. So, okay, so we want to move on to 5D. So what's 5D?
Heaven?
It could be called that. It could be. So it's a dimensional frequency, a range of energy, non-physical, but physical is invited in there. We are in 5D. We are not all vibrating in harmony with 5D yet, but we're already there. Some people will say we're not there, we're still in 4D. Okay, that's their perspective. The point is, 5D is the new paradigm. So we've dropped off this old paradigm, and we're now being asked to shuffle our way through, one by one, every human, every animal, every plant, every mineral, every crystal, they're already there. All of Mother Earth shifting from this old paradigm where we were based in separation and unconscious. By the way, part of separation, space and time, is that we're separate from God. In this old reality, you're separate from God, aren't you? You go to church, but God is someone separate, right? We do that, and God's outside of us. So in this new paradigm, actually we start uniting with God and uniting with one another. Because we understand this God particle concept and all energies connected, we're all connected through vibrational frequency. Fifth dimension is a vibrational frequency that's based in love. What is this frequency based on?
Fear.
Fear. If you don't go to the doctor and get your checkup, you might get sick. If you don't go to the dentist and get your teeth cleaned, you might get cavities. If you eat sugar, you might get cavities. Too much sugar. If you overeat, you're going to get... It's all this fear-based paradigm. If you don't pay your taxes, they're going to come after you. I mean, everything is based on fear. If you don't get to work on time, you can get fired. If you don't say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, I'm a good slave, you could lose your job. And you might not get a good one. You better be afraid. Just be thankful for that measly peasly job you have, mediocre job. Be thankful that you get paid $2 an hour and you get to be someone's slave giving your... We don't think of it that way. We haven't been thinking of it that way because we were trained that that was normal. So we just thought that was normal, right? But now it's normal to get sick, by the way. It's normal to get old. It's normal to age. That's our reality that we've been having, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that in 5D, when we base our frequency on love and the vibration of love, everything changes, everything. And the thing is the vibration of love, which peace, joy, happiness, fulfillment, those ranges. That's what we all always wanted here. We were working from a different perspective of how to achieve it. Make more money, buy a new car, have a bigger house, right? Buy nice clothes, and then just to sort of pretend that we really didn't have what we wanted. It's here now. That's 5D. Is this making sense to everybody? Mm-hmm. Is this helpful so far? Mm-hmm. So what is the key is that we have to become compatible. Now when I say compatible, what I mean is we have to energetically, our bodies have to feel vibrationally in total sync, i.e. harmony, with peace and love. That means for the most part, doesn't mean we won't still get triggered or upset or angry or something, especially by something that's still based in this reality. Something unfair, unequal, unjust. We might judge it. That's our perspective, or have some perspective of something here that's wrong or not right, or maybe we're out of alignment. I say out of alignment with peace and love, joy, happiness, and fulfillment, harmony. So this is the ascension process. It's where we unplug, so to speak, disentangle from this reality and anchor into this reality and become as vibrationally, energetically compatible with this reality as we possibly can. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Now, the challenge is, how do we do that? Because over here in this reality, we only have a limited capacity of our left analytical brain, which is what we've been using to try to figure things out. We figure it all out here. So we write down 3 steps to do this, and how do I open my pineal gland if we're open? You know, we don't know. We're just trying to figure it out. And this is why, Sam, would you say you're a skeptic?
Just, no, not really skeptic, I guess, just unfamiliar.
Unfamiliar. Okay, that's good. That's awesome. I love that. But they're skeptics in this reality. They don't believe or they disbelieve. And the reason we're skeptics is we're trained to be that way. We're only using our left brain. And so, as we're only using our left brain, we will never be able to figure our way out of here. We will never be able to do this with just the left brain. And if you were here last night, you heard me say this, that in this reality where people are not meditating or doing any kind of energy work, this is scientific, they're using 10% of their conscious brain. Science says that. As a collective, we agree. The average person who doesn't meditate or do any kind of energy work is using 10% of their brain. So how do we shift out of this reality? Because we can't figure it out. We're not going to be able to figure it out. Like, isn't it true you're kind of walking around, we're all walking around planet Earth, like, who can you trust? Who do you believe? What's the truth? Because we can't figure it out. We will not be able to figure it out. So how do we get from here to here in 5D? How do we do it? Anyone know? Any guess? You guys are so quiet.
Meditate.
Meditation is a great tool, absolutely.
Classes. reading.
Classes and workshops, great tools. Healing, great tools.
Going
Being in
within.
nature, going within, all of it. But here's the thing. How we get from here to here, number one, is we have to merge with the non-physical realm. We absolutely must recognize that there are non-physical aspects of our existence. And those non-physical aspects are going to either somehow uplift us, support us, or they have to be cleared, healed, and resolved. Disentangled. Because the non-physical aspects in some cases are our own beliefs, our own thoughts, our own emotions, our own judgments and opinions, things we judge as right or wrong. Over here in love, it's not right or wrong. It's just, this is what I love, this feels good and right to me, this is an experience I'd like to have. I bless and honor everyone else on their journey. And I might not choose that or like it, but I understand it's a choice, free will. They get that choice, whoever they are, whatever. I won't necessarily support it with my energy, but it is what it is, it exists. And Creator, we start aligning with these universal laws that I referenced. So, the key is that as we're anchoring in more here to this reality, we become more neutral. Peace is very neutral, isn't it? We're just at peace. We become more peaceful, we become more accepting. We certainly are becoming more forgiving. So how are we going to do it is, that's really what it is. We start clearing every belief that we have, every judgment, every point of view that entangles us and keeps us trapped in this. So for example, if you're a person who really believes, and we all do, that it's normal to get sick, or disease is part of life, or here's a good one, there's just not enough money, I can't afford it. All of those are belief systems, points of view, perspectives, much of it's unconscious. In that 10% of the brain, 90% of the brain, entangling us in that reality, because until we get disentangled, we can't possibly realize that we have infinite wealth available to us, infinite abundance, infinite consciousness, infinite love, infinite energy, infinite resource, because that's true. But we can't align with those truths until we disentangle. Does it make sense? So, hello, welcome. So that is part of this healing journey. This is part of the ascension process. We take responsibility as individuals for our experience, and we start processing. What is it that's making me believe that it's normal to have sickness in my life? What is it that's making me age? These are all programs, by the way. I call them, a lot of them are programs. So what is a belief is something, nothing more than something we believe to be true. But if we believe it over and over and over again, it becomes a belief system. And then if that belief system starts looping like a pattern, even so much that it's just normal unconscious, and just does it on its own, it's something we're even unconscious, then it starts to become a program. Because like, if you think about your computer, what is Excel on your computer? It's running all the time. You're not even necessarily conscious of it, but it's always storing up your programs, storing up your spreadsheets. It's on your computer, right? Excel, Word, all of them. There are programs on the computer. You don't have to do anything. They just do their job, right? But that happens to us. Aging is a program. What if that's true? What if aging is a program that the body is just doing? What if sickness or disease is a form of what if lack of anything is a program that's running? And the thing is the ascension process is our process where we go within right? I think there's not enough in my life. I'm feeling like I don't have enough, or somehow I'm not being taken care of, or I feel like I can't have what I want, or we start, what is it that makes me think that? What is it within me that I'm believing that? Or is it, who's carrying an illness in this room? Sickness, illness of some kind, a disease of some physical body issue? Who? Okay, well, healing tonight. What's going on with you?
Lower back and knees.
Who has heart issues in the room? I feel it. It's hurting me so much that I'm like, I cannot handle almost this heart issue. Is it, what is it? Can you say?
A couple of different things. The aortic valve had been replaced with an equine valve.
Yeah, so it's affecting me. I can feel it so strongly that I'm having a hard time with it. So, it's good that you're here, because you get healing on that. So this is a program based on belief systems, belief systems that connected with emotions, that stored up energy in the heart center. I knew it was coming from one of you too.
Actually, I have heart problems.
You do too. Oh my God. Yeah, right, zonkers right in front of me. I'm like, man, I've done this like a gazillion times. I know people's hearts in the rooms, but this is the hardest it's ever been. And I might even have to ask you guys to move slightly further back, but not for now, unless I hear more. But so anyway, okay, so nonetheless, right, these are stored up programs running in your unconscious that are creating your experience. So part of the healing journey is that we go in and we start to clear those programs, and then the body starts to have a different experience, because the program, what happens if you take Excel off the computer? Now, we need Excel on our computer, but let's just say you have a virus on your computer. This is a virus. We wouldn't call it a virus in our terms. But it's a program on your computer, and it's running to such a degree that you've got it. Because I'm a sensitive and a healer, I'm aware. I knew. It's fascinating. So, when the program gets cleared off effectively, and that's the healer's journey, right? That's part of the ascension process. You disentangle from this reality, and even though the doctor in this reality tells you there's nothing you can do, you need a surgery, or it's not going to work, this program gets lifted, and suddenly a new doctor comes in. Oh no, there's some new treatment. Oh no, oh this is healable. Or oh no, I've got some new discovery. Oh, whatever we saw, it's gone. And then the healer gets to say, bravo, someone was healed by me. Even though it's not me, it's source. I'm just the facilitator, right? So, but this is all ascension. So whether it's a physical issue, an emotional issue, a mental issue, a financial issue, all of those issues are based in this paradigm that now, through this ascension process, we get to do the inner journey and realign with this whole new vibrational frequency that's no longer fear-based, that's love-based. And as we anchor into that new vibrational range, we have an entirely different experience, because the program that was running, that was creating the experience, is no longer there. Now we have a new experience. Does this make sense? So here's why I can say with absolute 100% certainty is that our future does not include sickness. Our future does not include illness. Our future does not include suffering, misery, or lack of any kind. But the question is, how long or short will it take for humans to decide that they're ready? Because free will still reigns supreme. We get to choose. If you still want to play with lack, you, whoever we are, and still want to believe it's all woo-woo and a bunch of malarkey, that's our choice, and we can still keep having that old experience until we die. And then we cross into the fourth dimensional realm, and we get to choose again. Do I want to come back, or do I want to move forward? Or do I want to be someone's angel and help them wake up? That's what my brother was to me, and countless animals and other beings. So this is the choice. This is what we have. This is where we're at now. This is the timeline. We call this a timeline. Why is it a timeline? Because some people will not choose it. It just won't. And for those people who want to keep playing out that old role, they're going to continue to vibrate with fear. I'm at a point, I can't be vibrationally compatible. That's why I'm holding my heart. I am not vibrationally compatible with that. I'm incompatible with this. It's nothing personal. It's you're coming up to a newer vibration. You've already gotten healing tonight. You don't even realize. So we already moved some of that energy. But people are becoming vibrationally compatible with this whole new range. And these other people who are choosing this new reality will no longer be vibrationally compatible with this. So this is what I mean by a timeline. A timeline is where the old reality is still overlapping with the new reality, and people are getting a choice. But eventually, it started already, more and more, this reality is going to start to fractal. We call that a fractal, a bifurcation. And you don't know it because you start meeting up only with people who are vibrationally compatible with you. So people over here who are entitled, and this is why people start saying, I'm not going to watch the news anymore because I'm not interested in fear. Doesn't mean I'm trying to be ignorant. I just don't, that's not my vibe. It just makes me miserable. I don't even care about that because I know it's not even the truth. That's why people don't watch, yes.
How do you feel about things like, because I have friends that watch Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead and The Handmaid's Tale. I can't watch it.
I can't
just
either.
can't.
Personally, from my perspective, violence is not entertainment. No form of violence is ever entertainment, and I cannot vibrate with that. I can't tolerate it. Not because I'm judging it as wrong. My vibration does not tolerate it. It just can't be in the same space of it. And I wouldn't put myself through that because I vibrate primarily to love and peace. And I can feel everything around me. Half the time I'm processing other people's unprocessed emotions that I don't totally dig, but that's how Source uses me. So, yeah, I say it all the time, violence is not entertainment. But so I'm going to go a little slightly off course, but it's part of it. In this reality, now, let me just take a breath and ask Source if it wants me to go here. Okay, bifurcation, and then I'll come back to that. Thank you. Finish up with bifurcation. So what's happening here is we have two different overlapping realities now. People who are completely unconscious, still recreating the old reality, no idea this is going on. I call those people third wavers. I call them that. Not everybody would necessarily agree with me. I call myself a first waver. Now first, second, third, no better or worse. It's just based on where a soul, a unique soul, where we are vibrationally. There's no better or worse, and it's the role we all chose to play in terms of the awakening process. So first wavers, typically were coming very alive in the 60s, mid-60s. Remember Woodstock? Remember JFK? Remember MLK? Remember Gandhi? Remember MLK, JFK, John Lennon, the Beatles, Love Is All There Is. Okay, those are first wavers waking up. Now the early first wavers were all famous, and they got what happened?
Killed.
Because conspiracy is not a theory. So those guys were taken out on purpose so that they couldn't wake everybody up. And so then what they did was the second, immediately as they were taken out, there were seeds. This isn't going to work. Now we have to seed ourselves as people who are everyday humans, not famous, born, have no idea who they are, until perfect time when they can wake up and hold their knowing, and that they're so divinely protected that they would never be crucified or murdered or whatever, so that this ascension process for all of humanity really can happen, so they can't be taken out. So this is why, right in the mid-60s, the bulk of starseeds were born. What's my birthday? Mid-60s. Who's born in the mid-60s? Okay, so you're seated, most likely. You have a mission here, if you resonate with it. The starseeds have a mission. They know they have a mission, and they know that God is their boss. We know that we're here to help awaken others. But it happens in waves. So first wavers tend to be, first waver said, I'm going to step out of the limelight. I'm willing I'm willing to get in front of the stage. I'm willing to take the risk. I'm willing to take the hits. I'll do the bulk of my processing. I'll be fully online by 2011. That was my Maui experience. That was my induction, my home family waking me up saying, by 2011, you need to be online, working with a business, bring it out there to help the second waivers, who then will take it to the third waivers. Second waivers coming online now. You guys are all second waivers. You're coming online. You're starting to wake up to this. It might be a little crazy still processing. Third waivers are still asleep. Role of the third waivers is to hold the old system in place so that we don't all go insane all at once. So that we can still function as a society. So we still have banks. So we still have grocery stores. They have to hold the old system in place so we don't all lose it. They're doing a great service to us. We need the old systems. We're not ready yet. Bitcoin's not ready. Electronic currency is not fully ready yet. Giving everything away for free, we're not fully ready for that yet. So they're holding the old system in place, and they chose to stay unconscious until everybody's ready to wake up. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Second waivers are going to help third waivers to wake up. No one's better or worse. This makes sense. This is waves. Now, that said, there's still some people who might not choose it. They just might not. So they get to finish off their lives as third waivers and complete, and then they have the ascension afterlife. Fair. It's just a different way to go through it. No right, no wrong, no better, no worse. Everyone with me? This is ascension. This is happening globally. And you see it starting to happen. A good example, another good example is the Me Too movement, women waking up and saying, hey, we're coming back into our power. Why is that happening?
In astrology, it's Venus is coming into its power.
Yes, but astrology is a reflection telling us what's going on. So we can take our cues from astrology. I love astrology. It's very real and true and accurate, but it's a representation of what's going on inwardly so we can understand it.
Right.
We are not following the cues of Venus.
Right.
Venus is following the cues of us.
Right.
We don't know that. Astrologers don't know that, but it's true. Why is it happening? What is happening is, yes?
It's the age of the divine feminine.
Yes! Kathy, right?
Yep.
Exactly. So this society is controlled by a male patriarchy. We're not making men wrong or bad. It's just that's the way we set it up. There have been other societies that were more controlled by feminine, right? And it's not even about the body. It's not even about the gender. It's about energy. So what is masculine patriarchal energy? What is that energy?
Violence.
It is power-based, but it's
Material.
so is feminine energy is power-based. So your belief around power is something worth looking at. We're not going to go down that road for now, but okay, masculine energy is do, create, get this done, do that, take 3 steps, write down the list, get this done. We become human doings. That's masculine energy, and yes, masculine energy has basically been controlling this paradigm. This paradigm, 5D, is balanced. Feminine, masculine, in balance. What's the feminine energy?
Go with the flow.
Being. All that is. Just, if we just stop and be. All that is feminine. So when these two come into harmony, we're just like these powerful creators because we know how to be and create. We can anchor our masculine from within, and we can anchor our feminine from within and bring them into harmony. And then we're powerful creators. But this is why the feminine, just like Kathy said, Me Too movement uprising is the divine feminine is resurrecting. And it's expressing that way now as it comes into harmony. It's not fully in harmony yet, but many of us have embodied that. Many of us are coming, this is why so many women are, in my opinion, women are waking up to our sacred feminine. Anyone, I know there's someone in here, tantric women? Anyone do tantra in the room? That is like the rebirth of the feminine energy. It's not just for women, it's for women and men to claim that sacred union of the masculine feminine. We learn how to unify and unite those aspects of us. So, okay, as we bring those into harmony, we reclaim and we balance out, and they work in collaboration. Make sense? Okay, now, I'm going to talk about the universal laws, but first let's talk about that male patriarchy. This reality has been, sadly, this is slight conspiracy stuff. We don't have to go into the depth of it, but the overlords of this reality, we could call them overlords, the way their perspective is based on fear-based perspective, fear, domination, control, manipulation, and all the energies that vibrate in harmony with that energy, with that fear, anxiety, worry, doubt, regret, remorse, shame. You know, we know these energies. Lack of forgiveness, judgment, oppression, all those kinds of, and over here we talked about love-based, peace, harmony, joy, compassion, understanding, forgiveness, you know, acceptance, allowance. The overlords of this reality have been also star families. Star families. So what do I mean when I say star families?
Not from here.
Yeah, we could use that. They're beings from other star planets. So planet Earth is a planetary body. We call it a planet, not a star, but it's its own planetary body. So there's other star systems, right? What's the closest star system to ours? The Pleiades. So
Pleiades.
7 sisters. It's a feminine energy. The beings from Pleiades are star family. They're our star family. We have other planets. What's other planetary bodies?
Arcturians?
Octurians are planetary bodies. Sirius A, Sirius B. So these guys are generally more benevolent. I mean, they are love-based. They vibrate in harmony with love. But Earth is the only planet that I'm aware of in this system that is more fear-based. So the beings who have been controlling this planet up until 2012, they were given their timeline. I'm thinking, I didn't fully explain timeline, but okay. Who are they? Do we know in this room? Niburians are the ancestors.
Okay.
So yes, Niburians are extinct, but they planted and breeded humans.
Okay.
Yes, Planet X from Nibiru, also known as Nibiru.
Yes.
Nibiruans really have, to my knowledge, from what I've been downloaded and the consciousness I've received, they're no longer existing, but they've evolved. But they're of a reptilian order. So reptilian, draconian,
Grays?
Greys are, in my knowing, extinct. But other people could still be having experiences with Greys because on their timeline, I'm going to explain timelines better, they may have the perspective that they're still alive and they're still working with them. And since there's a law of free will, if that's what they believe, they can have that timeline. They can still have that experience. Does this make sense? It's very challenging to understand that. I'll explain it better, so stay with me. But we need to understand, these star beings, Greys, Draconians, Reptilians, they have been controlling this planet, and they were given by galactic councils a timeline that they could continue to control this planet until 2012, and after that they had to start vacating or shifting and becoming benevolent to vibrate in harmony with the rest of this galaxy. So these new star family races, Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Elohim, many others like them, Cassiopean, they're here helping us through this shift. And that's what I mean when I say star seeds. Many of us know ourselves as them, realizing that we seeded ourselves here to awaken so we could be in the physical planet with a physical body, so we can work with the law of free will, because the law of free will is still governing us. And we need to work with this law of free will to make the change here on the planet. Otherwise, we're not allowed to interfere. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. So these overlords are having to either check out or go off planet to another planetary body. Now, has anyone heard about Mars and the Mars Project?
Mm-hmm.
So what I understand is that that's part of the effort to relocate reptilian-based beings. No one would tell me that. That's only something I have from consciousness. So, but this planet, Earth, is becoming a new planet, in a sense, Gaia, that's gonna be entirely love and peace-based. So that's Ascension. Now that is really a lot, and if you all wanna go now, you are welcome to, because that in and of itself, is that helpful to help you understand this Ascension process? So I just redefined timeline a little better. A timeline really is simply a collective agreement. When I say collective, a group of beings, people, and animals maybe, and plants maybe, say, we want to have a shared experience. And this is the experience we have. We might not be conscious of it, that we want to have that, but we're going to have that. And we're going to make an agreement to have that experience. And not everybody will necessarily agree, so they might have no idea this experience is going on, because they didn't necessarily agree, but we'll share other experiences with them, like we all live on Earth. So there's people on Earth who are actually still having an experience that may be very different from ours, and we don't even know about it. Perfect example is third wavers versus first wavers versus second wavers, right? They don't have any idea this is going on, but we're still all having an ascension timeline, because everybody on planet Earth at the linear time of 2012 gets to have an awakening. Now, some people, I'm sorry, just clearing, right? Clearing some of this stuff, and when you hear that, it's a clearing language, a light language that shifts energy. It's healing. So, okay, some people who are having experiences, we don't even know what's going on. They might have at 2012 even chosen to have an experience. It's the end of the world. I call that an Armageddon scenario. That's a program. And if they really, really believed that the world was going to end, they really believed it, and they wanted to have an end of game scenario, an Armageddon type of scenario, because remember that was right when the movie Armageddon came out, and if they bought into it, they believed it, they created that collective experience, they have that experience. We have no idea. We weren't on that timeline. Does this make sense? It's really, return of sci-fi. But that's what happens on those timelines. We have no idea that's going on, because that's not what's in our collective agreement. In this room, our collective agreement is that we're all waking up right now in whatever way is unique to us. Make sense? That is a timeline. So when some scientist gets on the TV and tells you, we're going to run out of water by 2017 or whatever, 22, he's creating a timeline. And if enough people believe and buy into that, especially if they get into a fear-based resonance, they resonate vibrationally with that experience, they're going to have that experience. From my perspective, I'm connected to infinite love. And I absolutely know this infinite well of water and abundance has solutions to every problem that could ever exist or has ever existed. And as I am learning in my own life experience and then sharing to the best of my ability with others, there's going to be plenty of water, plenty of food, plenty of nourishment, plenty of love, plenty of Mother Earth healing herself and us healing Earth, plenty of co-creative experiences where Mother Earth plenishes, replenishes, renews, heals her problem child areas, reawakens, who knows? I mean, we have the solutions in us. They're all stored, by the way, in the DNA. I'm going to get to that. But does this make sense? So that's a timeline, and if you're buying into this with me, I can tell you the future is rosy, beautiful, everything's handled. We just have to, our job is to vibrate in harmony with that reality, because it exists. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. And all realities exist. All realities. So someone else comes on and tells you you're not going to heal from a disease, and you buy into that, you give your power to that authority, for example, a doctor, that could be your timeline. Your astrologer tells you, oh, you're going to have another year of suffering, and you believe that timeline, you can have that experience. Law of free will, okay. But there's also another timeline that you can align with your, I know there's something better, source, there must be something better, I don't know what it is, but I know it exists because all things exist. All things exist. What is a better experience, more fulfilling, more rewarding, more pleasurable, more enjoyable, more aligned with peace and happiness and joy, health and well-being? Let me line up with that. And what is the vibrational frequency of that? It's going to be peace-based, love-based. So how do I bring my body and being into more peace and love-based? Is this making sense? All timelines exist. They're available. They're all overlapping now. Just like Grand Central Station, because this third dimensional reality has moved into 4D, and 5D is moving. They're uniting. So we get to choose now. What timeline, what dimension of reality will I experience? And it's going to be based on our vibration and the level of consciousness, so to speak, which is how open our minds and our hearts are and what our vibrational frequency is. Does this make sense? So therefore, this is why it's so important at this time to become conscious, because those third wavers, they are running the greatest risk in reality by choosing to continue to give their power to false authorities like news anchors, and scientists that cannot see the greater picture, or doctors, teachers, lawyers who have no idea about what's going on. Now, here's where the proof is. Here's the proof, right? Because we're all looking for proof. And there's proof and evidence everywhere. But the way you yourself, as every individual, we all have to find our own way. Don't just believe me. I mean, obviously you're not going to believe me. You're going to walk away and you're going to think about it and you're going to decide, what do I believe? Is she off a rocker? Is she crazy? Is she for real? That's how we develop our discernment. She's just some crazy woo-woo. Here's how you decide. You start learning the universal laws. You have to know the laws. Over here, fake laws by a fake government, trying to control things, control, domination, manipulation, for their self-service. This reality is based on service to me. Me, 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 me. I want my money, I want my house, I want my car, I want what, and if I have all the money, I can control everything. If I have all the power, if I have the schooling, if I have the doctorate, whatever, levels, hierarchy, right? Me, 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 me. This reality is controlled on we, and one, the divine one. That divine one is in me, in you. In fact, as I wake up to the fact that I'm the one dreaming, I'm having this dream. And yeah, there's some conscious beings here who are individualized in their consciousness as aspects of Creator. In truth, I'm the one creating this dream. As I come into that oneness, I created this night. In fact, 5 minutes before you all walked in, I did a meditation. Let every seat in this room be filled. Because before you all walked in, it wasn't. That's funny, right? Okay, but only because when we start to know our oneness, we realize other ones are having co-creative experiences. Yes, we're all unique individuals, but we're all one, part of this one source. So this reality is we and one. We come into our oneness with the one creator of all that is. Infinite love, infinite light, infinite consciousness, infinite peace, infinite harmony, infinite oneness, infinite abundance, infinite health. So, me, we. Yeah, oneness. This is based on service. Service to the greater good of all, with harm to none. Why? I don't want any harm because I'm in oneness. I don't want any harm in my oneness. I want everybody restored to their ideal and optimal state of health and well-being. Anything that doesn't allow that, make it go. In the highest and best ways, for the highest and greatest of all beings concerned, with harm to none. That's the code of ethics here. That's the mantra, right? We have to know the laws. So over here, the law of free will. If you give your free will to someone else because you're unconscious, because you believe that the doctor has power over you or the government has power, that's fine. You have that choice, law of free will, which is also called the law. Who knows what the formal name of law of free will is? Intent, consent, and authority. Doesn't matter. It's the law of free will. Now, if you start using your law of free will as your power, just that alone, imagine, this law of free will is conscious of itself. So you say, law of free will, it is my intent, using my consent and authority, that all of Mother Earth is healed, that all the waters are blessed and cleansed and bathed and purified in love, that all plants and all animals, human and non-human, this is my intent, consent, and authority, this is my free will command, respectfully, that all beings are treated with love, and kindness, and compassion, and sentience, integrity. It is my intent that all of humanity be restored to integrity, with integrity. Now, imagine you say thank you. Let it be done in the highest and best ways, with harm to none. The law of free will comes in and starts saying, this being has impressed this. Now, there's a gazillion other beings who are also conscious of this. I'm not the only one. And they're doing it already. They're Lightworkers. This is affecting the whole planet. Everybody's starting to wake up. Imagine how much power you have when you start understanding how the laws work. That's just one law. Does this make sense? It's just the first law. So, I'll go over a couple of the basic laws because we need to know them. We have to start living by these laws. Over here we live by false laws that can be broken. Universal laws cannot be broken. So this is how you know. This is the test. Remember when I said this is how you test because you're using your discernment. Does it stand up to a universal law? If the answer is yes, you have to live by it. If the answer is no, it's not true, it can be changed. So here's the basic laws. One is law of intent, consent, and authority. One is, which is the law of free will. One is law of creation. The law of creation is you're a creator. You create everything in your reality. So you created the heart condition. Not purposefully. I call that a miscreation. You didn't do it on purpose. But you did it to help your heart to heal old wounds, old sadness, old grief, old sorrow, old issues with lack of love, lack of being loved. Over here there's lack, over here there's not. As you work with the non-physical realm, this heart can be completely healed, totally. By vibrating, releasing that old vibration, right? We've talked about this. So, law of intent, consent, and authority, law of free will, I'm going to heal my heart. I intend to heal my heart in the highest and best ways, for the highest and greatest of all beings concerned with harm to none, especially me, since it's my body and my being, right? Okay. The moment you say that, law of free will is now going to start finding ways to help you heal. Law of creation. Now you're the one creating it. I recognize I miscreated. I also recognize I can recreate something new. Law of creation. I'm a creator. I'm going to use my free will to create something better for my body and my being. Harm to none. Okay, good. That's the law of creation. Number 2, law of radiation, which is also a law of emanation. Emanates out from me. Everything from me, the creator, emanates from me. I'm that creator that everything emanates from. My thoughts are emanating from me like my head is a cell phone tower. Electrical current running from my thoughts into the field of all that is, right? My emotions are magnetic. So whatever I feel is created by me, emanating from me, radiating out from me. Law of radiation. Make sense? That's the law of radiation. I'm the creator. I think thoughts. I have emotions. They radiate out from me. Next law, law of circulation. What is law of circulation? Circulates around. I can feel your heart. How is it that I could feel that if energy's not real? I wasn't using my psychic gifts. I've been feeling it. It feels a lot better, by the way, already. Do you guys feel a little better? Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Because just by being in vibrational proximity, your hearts are being healed. By someone who can still hold the light and clear out the density. That is healing happening. But the point that I was making is law of circulation. What's emanating from you is circulating around in the field. And if someone around you is conscious, they can feel it too. That's law of circulation, circulating. Okay, good. Now, so that's law of circulation. What's the most famous law? You guys already know this one. Law of attraction. You attract it back to you. So what we radiate out from us circulates around the field and then attracts back to you. Now there's another law, which is law of amplification. What's law of amplification? Yes, intensifies, amplifies. So If you, I just said this last night and I mean it again, play with this. If you give out as a donation $10 today or $20, I used to do this all the time when I lived in Los Angeles and I had no money back then. I mean, after I got back from Hawaii, I had nothing. And I used to write down love notes on dollar bills, sometimes $5. In fact, even when I used to go to Agape Ministries in Los Angeles with Reverend Michael Beckwith, who I love so much, I'd write on $100 bills. And I would tithe it, donate it, and watch how it amplifies. It comes back to you times 10 to 100 or greater. The more love you put into it even, that amplifies it. Now, if we don't know that over here the belief is when I give it out, I have less. But over here, when we know the universal laws and we start aligning with them, what I give out comes back to me with even this or even greater. Because of law of amplification, all these laws. Does this make sense? Okay, one other law, and there's more laws, but these are the primary ones we really got to know, and that is law of cause and effect. So there's a cause to everything and there's an effect to everything. So if I give out $1, the effect is someone else is going to be wealthier, but also actually if I understand these other laws, I'm going to get back even more. If I give out love, I'm going to have even more. If I give out information, wisdom, and knowledge, which is my favorite thing, I love giving that out, I'm going to have even more. If I give out healing, which I love being a healer, I love healing, I'm going to continually heal my own energy field, and I actually can heal even more. The more I give, the greater it gets. This is just the laws working. Not why I do it necessarily. I just started because I wanted to make the world a better place. By the way, ants always want to make the world a better place. I know names. I've studied names. So, okay, do we understand the laws? This is what's governing the 5D reality. So as we start testing, if you test everything against a universal law. So here's a perfect example. Let's have one belief that someone believes to be true. Give me one belief. Okay, you can't think of it.
I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough. Okay, so let's test it against the universal laws. You can take any belief and test it against universal laws. Here's how you test it. You don't even have to know all the laws. You just say, is that true of everyone, everywhere? No, therefore it's only a belief and it's not universally true. When you test a belief that you have, like, I don't have enough money, there's not enough money. Is that true for everyone, everywhere? No, because there's a lot of global elites on the planet having tons of money. So then, that can't be true about you. It just means it's a belief that can be changed. Once you change because the law of free will honor your belief and say it's true. But the moment you say, oh, it's only a belief, I can change it and replace it with a new, better belief. For example, source is my provider. Source is infinitely abundant, and as I go to source for all my provisions, and I recognize source is providing, therefore I'm infinitely abundant. If I recognize that to be true and allow it to be true, yes, you might have to do some energetic shift. Yes, you might have to clear the program off. That's what the healer does. We are all healers. We can all do it, but we don't all know how necessarily right away, but we can all learn it. Then there becomes a new truth. Does this make sense? Our job, again, through the Ascension process is to identify all these limiting beliefs, etc., and we can test them. Is it universally true? Another good one is, I have a client right now, she wants to have a baby. She's just hit 40. She has a belief that it's not possible for her to have a baby at 40. Is it universally true? No! The moment I cleared it for her, she was like, oh my God, yeah, I realized I didn't think I could have a baby. But that's not actually true. Now her whole reality is suddenly changing. All of a sudden, there's all these books she found out she never knew about before, how to have a baby after 45, and the new treatments, and all kinds of things opening to her that just weren't even opening to her before because she didn't believe it was true. She never even heard of that stuff before. 1 week, that was one session. Her whole life started to change. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, so, okay, I'm at 8 o'clock. That means I've been going for already 2 hours? Oh no, an hour and a half. All right, so this is questions, because then we're going to take a break, and then the last hour is the meditation and wrap up. So we have about 15 minutes of questions. But this is what we're doing. Who wants to ask questions or bring anything up? Yes?
I work at a drug abuse recovery center.
And I don't really ascribe to the idea that once you are an addict, that you are always an addict, that
Yes.
that recovery is something you deal with for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's a belief.
Okay.
I completely agree with you.
So.
This is the only problem I have with 12-step programs. I'm powerless, I have no power over alcohol. I get it, I did the 12-step programs, I'm just referencing that. But in the whole recovery, you're absolutely right, that's that belief system. You're gonna be dealing with it your whole life because they all believe in that belief system because it's based on the history, the story of that reality.
So my heart's desire is to change the way of thinking about recovery from addiction.
Yes, that's beautiful.
And I want to do it, but I don't know how.
Yes. Oh, but you do know how. So you have a belief system that you don't know how right now, and that belief system standing in your way. But if you're connected really to infinite intelligence and infinite wisdom, which you are, then that belief system can be changed because somewhere within you, you do know how. In fact, it's part of your mission, and it's just the part of your ego that thinks you don't know how is buying into the fact, or that right now it's a fact, but it's not absolutely true, that you don't know how, right? So would you be willing to clear that belief system?
Yes.
And everything it is, right? This is what we do in the healing part. And then what we do is we instill within you, within every cell of your body and being, and awaken from within you, Creator's truth, Creator's point of view, Creator's perspective, understanding, and definition, everything Creator, the gifts of consciousness that Creator has to share with you on this topic area. And that those gifts of consciousness will now be yours because they are within you and they are external to you too. They're all that is. They're available to you now. Instilled within you, within every cell of your body and being with your consent. Law of free will. Are you willing to receive? Are you willing to receive? Yes. Breathe. Take a breath. So just clearing energy. Now in the breath, just notice whatever you notice, which you may in the moment think it's nothing. In the moment, you might not notice anything other than the fact that you're just sitting here breathing. And just bringing you into alignment with Creator's consciousness on this topic area so that your consciousness is the consciousness of Creator. Now you're aligned with Creator, right? I get the joy tap. Sometimes I get a joy tap. It sounds like I'm laughing, but it's because I got this laugh like it's done. It's done. Okay. So, all right. So in the moment, you don't necessarily know, but what happens is that has just been birthed within you. You've just now come into a new vibration, some old vibration that you're like relatively unconscious of. It's been cleared. You're in a new vibration. Your brain's like, what happened? The brain's trying to logic its way through. It's not going to be able to logic its way through. But tomorrow or the next day you wake up. Uh-oh, I'm sorry. And suddenly you're like, oh, yeah, I can do this. Oh, what about this idea? Oh, what about that idea? And everything shifts, starts to shift, domino effect. Does this make sense? Yes. Just like tomorrow, you both are going to wake up and some part of your heart is going to be so forever healed. It's already massively better. I can feel it differently. Which the healing in the circle that we do tonight, that will do heart stuff. It will really help. Huge. But make sense? Is that helpful? Because the left brain is the ego mind, doesn't know what it's getting, hasn't made sense of it yet. So just let that integrate. It's going to integrate. Because it's all energetics. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Who else? This is your time to ask anything. Go ahead.
I've noticed that, like, I've been friends with, like, people, especially, like, women, since 7th grade. And we get together, and there's just no cohesion. It's just, and you love them, and you know, you want to be in their life, but at the same time, when you talk, it's just like this.
Yeah. You're becoming vibrationally incompatible. Your consciousness evolving, and your frequency, your energetic vibration is here, And theirs is not better or worse, just theirs is now not where you've evolved. And they're a reference point in a way for you to look at it and say, oh, that's where I was, but I'm not that anymore.
So how do you stay friends with them? Because I'm pretty much there, I'm woo-woo, I've gone woo-woo.
Yeah, that's up for your discernment. I have people like that in my life, not many, but my nuclear family. I still choose to be with them, and I have to play a game. And I have had to really evaluate that in myself. How do I, it's been, for me, that's a challenge, but what I've come to learn is that I would rather have them in my life and play dumb and stupid around them. That's what I call it, right? I have to play the game because peace matters more to me. Peace and harmony matters more to me. Even though for me personally, truth is so important. It has been torture for me personally to be around a family that values denial, ignorance, and lies. But because the love and the nuclear family, for me, some people wouldn't. That's just another program, nuclear. I have another family. I have other family. I have my sacred family. But I don't want those people out of my life. They matter to me. So I'm willing, I've made a choice. I'm willing to play the game of dumb and stupid. I use that word because I'm like that. But it doesn't have to be that word. Those sound like judgment words. I'm willing to pretend that I don't know what I know, or that I don't feel how I feel. I'm willing to do that so that I can be with them and still be in peace. In other words, for me, I accept what is. I accept them the way they are, to the best of my ability, without judging them, saying that they're wrong or that that's their choice. And they have the right to choose what I would call ignorance or denial. They don't call it that. They don't want to know. My father has spent his lifetime telling me to be quiet. Don't talk about that. That's how he does it. And that energy is so painful to me. Energetically, I cannot handle it. It's rage. Don't talk about that. Every time I ever brought up. So I have learned. He taught me. So I've learned if I want to be peaceful and be near him, I have to honor his wish. Don't talk about it. So I've learned I can talk about the weather. I can talk about movies. I can talk about food. And I let myself be okay with that because I love them. I love them. They matter to me. And their choice is their choice. So you have to decide for yourself. Because a lot of light workers will choose that. They'll say, that's just not my true family. And that's okay too. There's no rightness or wrongness. It's up to us to decide what kind of experience we're going to have and how we're going to navigate through it. Ultimately, I can say, though, that the more you engage in your own energetic frequency, the more tolerant you are of other people, but at the same time, the less tolerant you are, because it's like, I'm just not going to be around it as much.
Just seems empty, or you're
It's
not.
unfulfilling.
It sucks sometimes the energy
Yes,
out of you.
It does. It's draining, exhausting, depleting, but you know your energy comes from source, and you know how to refill it and refuel through meditation, through other sacred practice. Sitting in nature, hanging out with people you love, sharing joy, sharing happiness, hugging, whatever it is that fills you up, swimming, whatever it is that you love. Make sense?
Yes.
Anyone else?
When you get glimpses and feel you're on that side, how do you stay there
Well,
in the being rather than?
this is the ascension process. Because as you continue to disentangle, clear your energy, your cords. Anyone ever have your cords cut?
Oh, yeah.
Cord cutting works.
After that.
The thing about cord cutting is if you haven't cleared all of the resonance, you'll re-entangle. You see, there's also hooks. You get hooked in. I mean, a lot of times you can tell, especially when I'm doing this kind of stuff, I can get hooked. People try to hook you in. They'll hook you into their story. In fact, last night there was someone, and if you guys, for those of you who are here, it's like, but this. Sometimes a person is trying to hook you in. And if you get hooked in, you're now vibrating with them. Or their energy, somehow you're getting into this like tug of war energetically, or tit for tat, so that means there's still more to clear. But cord cutting works, that's an example. Clearing hooks, clearing entanglements, clearing ensnarlements. You'll hear it. You'll hear those words tonight. We'll be clearing it. But that's the process. And as you clear all of that, you just suddenly start to realize that's not my frequency. You notice yourself in relationship to it, just as this lady in the back was saying. You notice yourself in relationship, you're like, wow, that doesn't feel like me anymore. I'm just so empty. This is so much more, this is my vibrational state. So when you say, how do you do it? You keep doing it. You keep putting yourself around people, places, situations, and scenarios where that is the core energy you feel. You keep meditating, you keep healing. See, the biggest challenge of the healer journey is that over here, if the doctor says you need to come back every week for the next 12 weeks, you need to spend $10,000 on this medical treatment, you need to take these pills, people do it. But for the healer, if I say to you, in order to heal yourself, and I don't really do private sessions anymore, actually, I do group things. But if I say to you, you need at least 12 weeks with me, and it's going to be 12 hours, once a week, plus you need to do every DNA activation call with me, every meditation I do, suddenly I'm sales pitching. And because it's not a doctor telling you, I'm saying you, but this is what happens in our society. We think, oh, it's just a healer, it doesn't really work, because the first few times you just don't really notice it. You got to get through so much density, so much heaviness, so much unconscious stuff. There's so much unconscious stuff, so when you first start doing it, you're not even conscious that anything really changed. I don't really know. It's not till you start getting more evolved where you're like, oh no, it's working. It's everything, it's changing. So you have to keep doing it.
Well, I think the part that gets me the hardest is that I have had good energy healings, and I've had times where at the spirit fairs where I would work where they'd see me before the fair. And I worked the entire way through the fair, pain-free almost. And then I get to, at the end of the fair, and we're packing up for 4 hours and driving home. And by the time I hit my week, all my healing dissipates. And I'm back there, and it's like, how do I maintain what I got, what I get at each healing so it keeps going, so it goes away?
So when you say at each fair what you got was you received or you gave? Okay.
I received.
So first, is there a belief, and I'm asking you, but I already know that there is, that it's not permanent or that it won't stick with you? Or
I
that
don't
it
want it
doesn't?
to be, I
Wait.
know, I cognitively, I
Yeah,
don't think that.
truth.
that's
If I
true.
ask you truth,
It's not, that's not true. But I want it to be permanent, it just doesn't end up being permanent. So that's why I keep showing up
all
here.
right, so let me rephrase what I just said.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask Source how to rephrase it. I'm gonna tell it to you. I am hearing that you have a belief that it doesn't stick with you and that it's not permanent. And that belief is standing in the way of you having a permanent, of it staying with you. So that belief in and of itself needs to be cleared and resolved. Does this make sense?
Yes.
So let's have Source right now, with your consent, identify that belief everywhere it's in your consciousness. And for anyone, if you have a belief, even if you don't have it, just clear it. Well, who cares? Then it clears from the collective. That the healing you've received or ever received isn't going to be permanent or won't be permanent or is only impermanent. Anything that is, everything about it, whether I've named it exactly or precisely or something like it, from your conscious and or your unconscious, let Source identify it now. From within and around you, this belief system, point of view, perspective, ideology, whether it's an energy, a frequency, a vibration, that it's identified now, lifted, removed, dissolved, and taken away and transformed into love and light. Return to sender, Source, the original source of creation, where it was created, to be forever transformed into love and light, energy transforms, that you never again need to repeat it or perpetuate it. So you're done and complete with it, and so that from this point forward, your healings that serve you will always be permanent. Always in the highest and best ways, with harm to none. Are you willing to to receive this, yeah. All right, shifting energy here. Now you're gonna breathe, deep, comfortable breaths, and just identify your breathing love. Yes. So now just Source is showing me. I translate for Source, it gives me the words. You give consent under the law of free will. You breathe, receive, and allow. Simple. Then you just notice yourself breathing. Let it be done. Simple, easy. Whatever you notice is fine. It's fine. All right, that's it. Does that make sense? Do you feel a slight shift? You can feel the energy in this room has shifted from the time we started. Yeah?
Have you studied access consciousness?
Yes, I like access consciousness. My experience with access consciousness is it's still a little very ego-y and a little less love-based, but nonetheless, I think it's a good
It's a
tool.
hybrid they take and what is the good parts of it.
Thank you. I try to get Source to download and tell me. I try to have all my training come through Source or through benevolent beings, angels, ascended masters. I've had lots of training with Jesus. I love Jesus. Even Jesus himself has said there's not only one right way. Even though religion tells you there's only one right way, only Jesus' way. That's not what I get from Jesus as my Lord and Master. But he's not my only Lord and Master. I love so many benevolent beings, the angels and the divine goddesses and all forms of religious and spiritual truths that come through and are available to us. And I just use what serves the greatest good. But mostly I'm Source. Source, highest, clearest, purest Source, original Source. Let's do this work now. And for staying in touch with me, I send you some free gifts. Developing your intuitive gifts, learning animal communication and telepathy, and all about the DNA, which I did not talk about the DNA. I should say a little bit about that when we get underway. But so as long as I have your name and your email. So does anyone not fill out? And to me, it's a gift of being here. Like I'm giving a gift, and I appreciate staying in touch with you. So did everyone, where's the other form, Carolina? Yeah, so as long as you're filling it out, and then we'll send you those great free gifts. This flyer is the free gifts flyer, and if you want to tell other people and have them get free gifts, you can take a flyer and share. I love to talk about it. You know, I love being of service. I can only do it if people show up. They know. You know, so that's that flyer. We're actually, oh, thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. It was open? Okay, good. I didn't want to open one. Okay. So anyway, those flyers are also up there. All right, those are the free gifts. Then, those are like just basic intros of everything I do. Oh, I love paneling. Oh, it's so nice. So, this one flyer tells all the classes and workshops. So if you like what you got today and you want to learn how to do what I do and learn more full workshops, I can't speak enough about my own courses. I think they're awesome. I mean, I just think they're great. They're online. And, you know, I teach the Akashic Records. I teach a whole course about exiting the matrix where we do talk about conspiracy and how to not get, you know, how to clear through that without getting entangled in it and how to work through all that stuff. You know, how to clear all the fear-based stuff. And there is that's a healing class. You learn about how to be a healer. And then there's dark arts training, psychic self-defense also. You learn about how to be a healer and how to use your psychic gifts to manage the world. There's a psychic development class, empathic development, secret energy of money, spiritual laws of wealth is in there. You can learn about this. Numerology, I do numerology, I love it. It's one of the easiest things to learn. Animal communication, telepathy, vibrational energy healing, and meditation for people and animals. These are all the classes. So if you want to learn more about these and the classes, tonight I have special discounts where you can save $200. It's not on the website if you want to take a course tonight. So look at it. You register tonight, you get access to it online, you have full access. And if you register tonight, you can save $200 on any of my classes, at-home study classes. That's not available only ever in person. So if we leave here, it's not available again. But this is what I recommend for people. Unless you really want to become a healer, Great. You want to become an animal communicator? Great. You really want to work on your psychic gifts? Great. But this is what I typically recommend for people. And this is the sacred membership. So this is year-long access to over 100 hours of content like this, way over 100 hours. Plus it's got ebooks and videos, and the ebooks have, developing your psychic gifts. These are all the ebooks that actually are on Amazon, that they're gifted to the people in the community. And DNA activations, I'll tell you real quick about the DNA in a moment. And sacred key code activations, which what those are is in our bodies, we have keys, codes that are waiting to be activated. When those activations happen, all of this stuff starts to just get undone. It's like imagine just shaking a tree and all the pollen falls off. And then suddenly the tree is reborn because it's now new and green again. It's that kind of thing. Well, anyhow, there's stuff for animals. There's intros to Akashic records, learning about your star family races, how to know what star planet you're from, Lightworker. It's just so full of information. On the website, it's $444. And with this flyer, you can get $100 off. But if you do it tonight, you get 50% off, $222. And it is, I think it's $222, the best investment you will ever make. But I feel like I don't always, I undersell. I don't even sell it because, anyway, if you want it tonight, I know Carolyn can help you with that. Yeah? All right, so let me talk about the little DNA, a little bit about the DNA before we do our meditation. Understand, in this reality, we have 2 strands of DNA, right? And in this reality, you're basically a victim of your DNA, more or less, right? So if your family lineage carried diabetes or depression or heart condition, heart disease, cancer, it's in your DNA, and you better hope and pray, right? And then we have some really great teachers like Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, who's teaching us, actually, it's based on the environment of the cell, which is based on how you eat and breathe and walk and live, the environment of your thoughts and your emotions. I mean, he's scientists waking us up that actually we're not victims of the DNA, that we can either activate it or deactivate it, or not, let it be dormant, right? But actually, I'm suggesting even more than that, and that is that, well, first of all, beyond just even Bruce Lipton, we know scientifically that we have 10 more strands of DNA that's been previously called junk prior to 2012, and now science calls it dormant. Yeah? Everyone with me on this? Mm-hmm. So these other 10 strands are basically dormant. What are they doing? And science doesn't even know what they're good for. What are they good for?
Awakening?
Well, as we are awakening, the DNA is awakening.
But it's to put us to our pure potential.
Yes, exactly. So your superhuman abilities are in that DNA. Everyone's psychic. Everyone can animal communicate. Everyone's a healer. Eventually we'll all be bilocating. Everyone is super brilliant. We have way more than 10% of our brain that we're going to use. But we have to activate this DNA. And this is the challenge because there are certain energetic blocks to the DNA that you have to get through. Does anyone know what the first gene is that has to be activated? You guys know. Compassion. So you have to have compassion before you can even get through to the other 10 strands. But here's what's brilliant. I mean, if you're in this room, you're already there. You know what I mean? Like, people don't show up to rooms like this unless you've already done that. But, I mean, just by showing compassion and care for the world, that's how the rest starts. It's like the door opens up to be able to activate the others. But the key to understand is in the DNA, the first 2 strands is the story of our ancestors. So if your ancestors, had a story and they passed it down. So for example, a grandmother could pass down through the story, men are bad, don't trust men. And then that's passed down to a granddaughter, to a mother, and then a daughter. And then all of a sudden the daughter doesn't understand why she can't have a healthy relationship with a man. But meanwhile, it's written in the DNA, and it shows up not just as a lack of trust, but a thyroid issue, because this is where trust lives. This is where the energy of trust flows. And she's got to heal and resolve the issues for the ancestors so that she, by learning trust and healing and resolving her issues, not only heals her own thyroid, but is healing the DNA record of lack of trust that goes back to her ancestors who didn't trust, in this case, in this example, men, but it could be anything. Does this make sense? This is the first 2 strands of DNA. So for example, every disease in the first 2 strands can be identified as an emotional mental issue, mental emotional issue. So for example, cancer, what is the root cause of cancer? First, what is the root cause of every disease?
Fear.
We could say fear, but it's even more than that. It's even deeper than that. The root cause of every disease.
Hate?
Unexpressed
Okay.
emotions.
It's a vibration. It's a vibration that vibrates with fear, somehow in harmony with fear. Every disease. So then if it's a vibration, and we can identify that vibration with some kind of words, like for example, we can identify the heart vibration when it's at its strongest. It's in vibrational harmony with love and joy. When the throat is balanced, it's in vibration with trust and authenticity. So when I'm authentically being me, well, my throat was out of balance in Maui because I wasn't expressing myself. I was suppressing, I was denying, I was not being authentic, I wasn't speaking up. So my thyroid got knocked off and it was triggering all kinds of other things, right? Okay, so the point is every dis-ease that's stored up in the DNA, the first 2 strands is a record of the ancestral beliefs, emotions, thoughts, thought patterns, thought sequences, sequencing patterns that stored up as an emotional energy that vibrated through the body, vibration, law of vibration, it's not law of vibration, it's law of radiation, radiated through the body and got stored as a record in the DNA. Does this make sense? Now, that is what the first 2 strands of DNA are. Once you open the compassion gene, because they do, you go through your hard times, you know, compassion gets awakened, and then suddenly it's like, oh, you start to realize, you come into contact with a healer who may or may not know this degree of it, but they start saying, I can help you to heal those wounds. Now maybe they do, I don't know what, different healers do different things. I do all kinds of things. But essentially I can wipe the record. Not that it's wiped, not even that it's dormant. The record's still there, but it's almost like there's nothing more than neutrality. It's sacred neutral. So you have a memory, but there's no attachment or energy in it. So the first 2 strands get healed. And as we heal it, we heal our ancestors. Does this make sense? We're healing our ancestral lineage. They're affected the same way I can feel the heart stuff. Energetically, they don't even know they're getting a healing. And yet we, the Lightworkers, we heal the wounds of our ancestors. Does this make sense? So as this happens, and it's not linear because it can all happen at once, like you'll see in this healing circle, we also can start to activate those other dormant parts in the DNA that are waiting to be activated. And those dormant parts in the DNA are sacred codes that can only be activated as we're ready. There's different like lock and key systems, so to speak. This is sacred key code activations. And this to me happens, it's not like you can force it, but when you're ready, you show up. Like I do quarterly speed activation calls where we do sacred key code activations and we unlock them. And those are codes that are given to me. I would never know what they are, but they're like diamond codes and light codes. They correspond to crystalline energies and light energies and different things. One of them happens to be the original divine blueprint. Is a very easy one, which our original divine blueprint does not include illness. That is not the original blueprint for humans, nor animals, by the way. And that is not, when that is reawakened and reactivated, the body and all the cells and the protons and the neutrons and the electrons, they start following the direction of that blueprint. But right now it's dormant. Does this make sense? One other thing about the DNA, and then we'll do our meditation, because now I'm running late. So, which is my story. The only other thing I just want to say about this is, no, I forgot. remember what I was gonna say, so. Anyway. Oh, whoa, I don't know what I was gonna say, because I could go on for hours about this stuff. You know, this is why I have a membership. So let's just leave it at that. There's tons more where that came from. But. So, yeah, let's do the meditation. So what you're gonna see though, oh, I know what it was. The rest of the DNA, it holds the solutions to all the world's problems. We have all the solutions within us. We think we don't over here because there's only 2 strands activated. There's only 2 strands. And by the way, we have way more than 12. Way more. It's just that science doesn't validate it because they can't see it under a microscope. They don't have the tools. Make sense? All right, so we're going to do our meditation. Everybody up for it?
Yes.
Now this is the thing with the meditation part, is a couple things. Number one, what happens is we're definitely going to do hard stuff, right? So understand when the root causes a vibration, the vibration corresponds to some kind of thoughts or emotions or belief systems. So if you raise your hand and say, hey, I have issues with depression, depression happens when we're not following our soul's mission. So we're so far off course from what the soul wants. The spirit's going in this direction, the human ego's going in this direction. You feel depressed because this is the light and the love. That's depression. So the healing might come through like this. You know how to follow your life course. You're aligned with your life course. You know exactly where to go and what to do. You don't know that you're healing depression because you didn't know that was the root cause of your problem. Does this make sense? But this is how I've learned it, because people would come to me and say, heal this, and I'd be, Source, how do I heal this? What do I need to do? And that's how I started to learn what the root causes were. Make sense? So even if you don't, you're asking for healing on something, it might sound like, what does that have to do with it? It's because that's the bottom issue. That's corresponding to the vibration that's out of alignment. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's set our intention as a group that we will all receive the maximum benefits during our healing meditation, which serve us in the highest and best ways and with harm to none. Can we agree?
Yes.
That each and every being will receive the maximum benefits that serve and support you and assist you in the highest and best ways with harm to none and for the greatest good of all. This is our divine intention. And we're united and collectively agreed, and we invoke under the law of love and the law of one and the law of free will to assist us with this, yes?
Yes.
And divine source, highest, clearest, purest source, original source, we invite this consciousness to be fully conscious, present, and with us here now. Now, as I'm saying the prayer, I want you all to start to breathe and relax. It's a meditation, but we're not leaving our bodies, we're not flying anywhere, we're not traveling, we're just relaxing. And we're getting our bodies into homeostasis, which is a relaxed, calm state, a peaceful state. So you're going to start taking some deep, long, slow breaths in through the nose. And when you're ready, you're going to let your eyes close whenever you feel safe. And these breaths are actually, let's stop identifying them as oxygen. Let's just become conscious. What they are frequencies of energy. And in this case, you're identifying the frequencies as love. So you're breathing love, the energy of love, just by your intention, in through your nose. And with your eyes closed, you start to feel this breath as it comes in through your nose, and you let it go straight into the brain, because that's where the nose canal goes, straight to the center back of the brain. In the center back of the brain, there's a pineal gland, a pituitary gland, and you breathe that love straight into your brain. And in your mind, you are aware, you feel this love. Now, even if you think you don't, just let yourself notice and feel what you feel, because there's nothing you can do wrong. You breathe this love in through the nose, back to the center of the brain, and you breathe and feel the love as it travels down your throat. And breathe and feel this love as if it's opening up your whole throat center, because love expands everything. It opens up the energy center known as a chakra. And then when you're ready, you take a little more breath in, just what's comfortable to you, and you start to breathe it down into your heart. And now you feel your heart and all your chest, your breast, your upper back, your shoulders, even into your arms and your fingers, all filling up with love. Long, slow, deep, full breaths of love. And when you're ready, you breathe some more. You can exhale whenever you want. It's just a deep, long, slow, comfortable pace for you. And with your mind, feel the breath travel from the heart center now down into the belly. And you feel this belly filling up with love. It's expanding all the belly center. It's expanding through all the organs in the belly. Intestines and stomach, pancreas, spleen. You don't even have to know where they are. Liver, and even behind you, kidneys. It's expanding all this breath, just filling up your whole belly. And you're just moving slow and comfortable, noticing the love as you breathe it in, feeling how it fills up your body, how love makes you lighter. And then breathe it down into the reproductive center, filling up the reproductive center with love. Breathing it in, and then fill up the tailbone with love. Fill the whole buttocks. And this is what you're going to do as I'm saying the prayer. You're just breathing with consciousness, noticing this love as it fills you up, as you breathe it in, and as it goes through all the major energy centers of your body. And anytime any part of you wants to stretch, relax, crack, whatever you need to do to get your body comfortable, that's fine, because your body is trying to relax. That's all it wants to do, and this is the time to let it do that. But you're sitting up, you're awake, you're aware, your feet are on the ground, you're breathing love. Divine Source, Creator, God of all that is, we call you in here and now. Highest, clearest, purest consciousness of original source, creation, Creator God. Thank you for your presence today. Let this healing, as we are united, divinely agreed, unanimously agreed, let the healing be fabulous, fantastic, and phenomenal. Let each and every being receive the maximum benefits which serve and support them in the highest and best ways and for their highest and greatest good, with harm to none. We give thanks for all we are about to receive. We allow all the most loving, most benevolent beings of love and light to come forward, here and now, to join us here and now, those with only those intentions, to serve, support, and assist in the highest and best ways possible for the highest and greatest of all beings concerned and with harm to none. We give thanks for all we are about to receive. We give thanks for all masters, teachers, loved ones, ascended beings of love and light, higher self guidance, wisdom of the angels, angelics, animals, animal kingdom, ascended masters, goddesses, divine spirit doctors, divine healers. We give thanks for your love and your light and presence. Star family races, thank you for joining us. We give thanks for all we're about to receive, and we let it be, and so it is. Thank you. So now as you're breathing this love, just reconnecting in through the nose, breathing love, this time feeling even deeper as you breathe it in through the nose, go straight back to the brain. The whole brain is awakened through this love. Feel, sense, see, or imagine. Remember, no way to do it wrong. This love is opening the whole brain, opening up the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, awakening like energetic movement through the brain, activating more of your brain capacity, awakening more of your right brain to feel and sense and be conscious. Breathe this love now down into the throat. Feel it as you breathe love. Throat center opening, center of truth, center of authenticity, center of safety and trust. Breathe love down from the throat into the heart. Breathe love into the heart, filling up all that love in the heart. Heart center filling up with love. Beautiful love expanding in through and around your heart, being blessed with this love. Chest and back, shoulders, arms, and hands filling up with love. Noticing whatever you notice. And this love, like beautiful energy that you're breathing in, is now dropping down into the belly center, expanding all the major organs, all of the belly, all the mid-back, all of the spine with love. As love is breathing you, deep, full, rich breaths drop the energy of the love into the reproductive center now, filling up all the reproductive organs and all aspects of the body, divine feminine, divine masculine, breathing love. Love breathing in and through every cell, awakening through this love. Drop the love now, the breath of the love, into the tailbone, still relaxing the body. Buttocks area, cheekbones, everything on the butt. Feeling your butt connected to the chair. And this love now is dropping out through the buttocks, through the chair beneath you. There's no way to do this wrong. You just let yourself breathe love and drop the love through the floor beneath you. You cannot do this wrong. You're just breathing love. Love is an energy, and you're reaching into Mother Earth now, down through the floor, and down through rocks and sand, dirt and minerals, an empty space of earth, deep, deep down through layers of ocean, ocean depths, and through the sand, the floor of the ocean floor, just breathing love and letting love drop into the earth. That's all. Down, 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 as if you're reaching all that love, breathing that love to the center of Mother Earth. And in the center of Mother Earth are crystals. These crystals store up the records of who you are. Just connect your love with them. No way to do it wrong, and no way to do it perfect. You just do it. Just breathe love. See, sense, feel, or imagine the love of these crystals now, connecting with your breath of love. And through this connection of love with Mother Earth, you start to breathe it back up into you. So now all of this love is rising up through layers and layers of empty space in the center of the earth, through the ocean floor, through ocean depths, and through sand and minerals and dirt and mud and rocks and more dirt and back up to the floor beneath you. Now you can feel this love. It rises back up into your buttocks area. Just breathe some more love. Anytime you want to breathe, breathe deep, long, slow, from the tailbone. You feel the tailbone and the buttocks with your mind. Feel it with your mind. Now breathe it into the reproductive. Feel that center fill up with love. Expand with love. Breathe it up now into the belly center. Expand with love. Breathe it up into the heart center. Expand with love. Breathe it up now into the chest. Breathe it up into the throat. There's no way to do it wrong. You just keep breathing love. That's all. Feel those parts of the body with your mind. Feel the head, the middle of your head now with love. Just breathe love. Middle of the brain. And now breathe that love to the very top of the brain, under the scalp. Just breathing love. That's all you need to do. And after a little while, you start to notice that love is breathing you. There's no way to do anything wrong. You just keep breathing love and put all your attention at the top of your brain, under the scalp. Breathe more love. And every time you feel floaty or anything like that, just breathe some love and feel the top of your brain under the scalp. And the first thing Source is going to do, I'm going to listen. There'll be pauses where I listen to Source. So first it's going to identify each and every aspect of our consciousness which is no longer serving you. All aspects of our consciousness which are non-beneficial to us, which are non-benevolent, all aspects of those parts of us which are no longer helpful to us, all aspects of us which are keeping us in separation to our detriment, all energetic frequencies and vibrations associated with this, now identified with your consent from within and around you, and most lovingly, most benevolently, lifted, removed, dissolved, and taken away, and transformed into love and light, with your consent. So this is a time you're going to breathe some more love, and in your mind you say, yes, thank you, or yes, please, to give your consent, and I'm going to get out of the way while it's done. Yeah, so you breathe, receive, yes, thank you, or yes, please. If you're not saying yes, you don't want it?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So this is only as is for your highest and best and with harm to no one, right? So now what we're going to do, okay, this is going to be a reunification. Divine Source, Creator, God of all that is, with your consent will now locate all fragmented aspects of you. Those aspects of your consciousness which have been fragmented off, existing in other dimensions of reality where you are completely unaware of yourself in those other aspects. Where you feel fragmented, where you've experienced your life as fragmented, where you've lived your life as fragmented, separated, confused, misaligned. These aspects will now be brought home to you, reunified with you. First, cleansed, blessed, bathed, purified, harmonized, and divinitized in the love and the light of Divine Source, Creator God, and returned to you, restored to you, the original source within you, awakened from within you, and aligned with the divine source of creation. Creator's consciousness will be restored to you with all these fragmented versions of you. And again, before this is done, these aspects of you will be first cleansed, blessed, bathed, purified, harmonized, and divinitized in the love and light of Source. Only those aspects which uniquely belong to you, which are uniquely yours as a unique, individualized body and being. With your consent now, breathe, receive, and allow this to be so. This is also called soul reunification. If you're willing to reunify all fragmented parts of you home to you, this is the time to give your consent. Breathe, receive, and allow now. Yes,
thank you.
I'm gonna breathe.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you.
you have to give your consent, thank you. If you don't want it, you just say no thank you. Now, a few moments of silence while I get out of the way. Yes. So again, you're just breathing love, and you're just noticing whatever you notice is fine. Nice, good. Spirit Doctor Team, Benevolent Galactic Shaman stepping forward. Angelics of the Angelic Order, Angelics and High Angels, Archangels, thank you. Stepping forward to work on the heart center now. Heart center of love and compassion being awakened and activated now. First, all denser, heavier energies associated with this heart center will now be identified in the most loving, honoring, gentle, kind, compassionate ways possible. These energies, these frequencies, these vibrations associated with sadness, grief, sorrow, regret, remorse, and a lack of love, not enough love. All energies, frequencies, vibrations associated with these aforementioned energies, frequencies, and vibrations, including all thoughts, beliefs, belief systems, points of view, perspectives, ideologies, judgments, opinions associated with these energies, which are not beneficial to you anyway, will now be identified from within and around you, especially as they relate to the heart center. Lifted, removed, dissolved, and taken away, transformed into love and light, returned to Source, Divine Source, Benevolent Galactic Shaman, Spirit Doctor Team, of course, banishing the spirits associated with these things, deactivating their life force, scrambling the frequencies, and sending them to the light of God, Son of God, to be forever transformed into love and light, that they never cause harm or detriment to you, your body, your being ever again, that you're done and complete with them. Simultaneously, Source's healing will be provided at the point of origin, wherever these issues were first created. Throughout all time and space, the healing will be done. Are you willing to receive this now, as always, only as is uniquely appropriate to you, your body, and being, and only as is for your highest and greatest? So be it. Give consent now if you're willing.
Yes, thank you.
So again, you're just breathing, receiving, noticing. Whatever you notice is fine. You're just relaxed. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Nice, good. Great. Source would like to provide to you the following truths, which will be, with your consent, instilled within you and within every cell of your body and being. I am good enough. I have always been good enough. I always will be good enough. No matter what I've ever done, I'm still good enough. I am good enough. I vibrate in alignment with the energies, the frequencies, and the vibrations of being good enough. I am good enough. I know what it feels like to experience myself and my life as good enough. I am good enough. That these truths shall be instilled within you and within every cell of your body and being, and simultaneously awakened from within you. With your consent, breathe, receive, and allow. Notice whatever you notice as you do.
Yep, thank you.
Me too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nice, good. Okay, good. It's checked up. More to come on this topic here. Love. That source now will instill within you and within every cell of your body and being, and simultaneously awaken from within you the truth about how deeply, fully, wholly, and completely loved, honored, accepted, and approved of you truly are. That every thought, energy, frequency, and vibration that emanates in, through, and around you will vibrate in harmony with this truth. That you know how deeply, fully, wholly, and completely loved, honored, accepted, and approved of you are. That it's safe for you to be loved, honored, accepted, and approved of. That you're worthy and deserving of being and feeling loved, honored, accepted, and approved of. That you have Creator's truth, Creator's point of view, and Creator's perspective, understanding and definition of how truly loved, honored, accepted, appreciated, and approved of that you truly are. And that these truths, points of view, perspectives, understandings, and definitions will now be yours too, that you will be aligned with Divine Source on this topic area, and that it will not only be your truth about your own self, but you'll also hold it as true, real, and right about every other living being on this planet, including Mother Earth herself. Now, with your consent, breathe, receive, and allow yourself to receive the gifts of this healing now.
Thank you.
Me too. Thank you. Just breathe and notice. You just notice yourself breathing, relaxing, and allowing. Letting Source do the work for you. Trusting that Source knows. Source is omnipresence, omniconsciousness, and has responded and is responding here now. Working with you as a unique individual being, exactly who you are, where you are, shifting and transforming you energetically for your highest and best. Thank you. Nice. Good. Thank you. Okay, good. Integrate. Nice. Okay, we're going to do a few requests. So if you have a request, something specific, especially if you've never gotten any healing, this is a good time. You can just raise your hand. You can open your eyes, or you can just raise your hand with your eyes closed. Okay, go ahead.
I have insomnia, I'd like that to go away.
Insomnia. Okay. I want you to breathe, relax, and receive. Let me get quiet, and I listen. This insomnia, in which many beings have been noticing, inability to sleep in a balanced way, is indeed a temporary state of being. This temporary state of being is directly related to your balanced serotonin and melatonin, and also your balanced feminine, masculine, and also your balanced ability, your ability to be in balance with nature versus technology. Indeed, it is a temporary state, even though you yourself as an individual being have not experienced it as a temporary state in your life. It has been a long-term experience. Understand it is indeed temporary. As you bring your body and being into more balance with respect to nature, technology, feminine, masculine, left brain, right brain, serotonin, melatonin, etc., all areas of balance will be restored to you. For now, recognize this. Part of the healing will be to bring the left brain, the right brain into balance, the serotonin, the melatonin into balance, feminine, the masculine into balance. Your job will be to restore yourself to balance in your daily life and living, to abstain from technological influences which are detrimental to you, especially in particular before bedtime hours, and also to spend more time in nature, enjoying your sacred feminine, your sacred masculine, playing in the innocence of love and joy. This will assist you in reawakening and activating and balancing hormones and other related aspects as has been mentioned. For this now, the healing shall be done as it has been explained. Creator's consciousness will restore this balance, balancing feminine, masculine, balancing serotonin, melatonin, balancing feminine, masculine, so you said already, sorry, I lost this a little bit, hold on. Bringing the body into homeostasis with your consent, including hormonal levels. This will, for each and every body and being here now, be restored to balance in a most divine way, a most harmonious way, as is uniquely appropriate for you, your unique body and being for each of you. All of these aspects will be restored to balance now. Again, it is your job in your physical form to take appropriate actions to maintain the balance in all your endeavors, gently, lovingly, and benevolently for you. With your consent now, the healing will be done and complete.
Yes, thank you.
Breathe, receive, and allow. Good to go. Just notice now. Just notice. Whatever you notice is fine. This is a lot all at once. It's fine. You let it be done. Many of you will notice a slightly elevated state of happiness as a result of this particular healing. A little bit more and it'll be complete. Thank you. This one's done. Good. Okay, let's take another request. Back here.
I have hand eczema. That's been
Hand
pretty-
eczema. Thank you. Okay, so just start to breathe again, relax. Let's listen. Eczema. Understand, eczema, an issue related to the skin, is directly related to your experience with the external reality, your perspective regarding your interface with the external reality, as it appears for you as an individualized being in relationship to the hands. We're speaking directly regarding how you hold on to life, hold on to experiences, hold on to your experience. Therefore, in bringing the two together, the direct correlation is how you hold on to the experience with your external reality, people, places, things, situations, scenarios. The eczema simply represents an irritation, an irritability, an itchiness, an uncomfortability. Therefore, from a vibrational perspective, that which needs to be healed and resolved is related to your perspective on how you interface with the external reality and the irritations that it involves. Let's bring this into alignment now. Divine Source will, from each and every one of you, locate and identify any and all beliefs, points of view, perspectives, ideas, ideologies, opinions, judgments, frequencies, energies, vibrations, where you are irritated and or itchy and or uncomfortable and or out of alignment with the external reality to such a degree that it irritates you, itches you, becomes uncomfortable because you're on out of vibrational alignment. Therefore, this is what will be addressed. All energetic resonances, non-supportive of you, your body, your being, keeping you out of alignment, associated with this topic area, with your consent, will now be identified, lifted, removed, dissolved, taken away, and transformed into love and light. And healing on the history level at the point of origin, wherever it first began, wherever the issue first began, at the point of origin, in time and space, whenever, wherever that was, that's where the healing will begin and will perpetuate throughout all of time and space, so that it's done and complete, so that you never again need to recreate this experience, so that you are complete and fulfilled. At the same time, with the healing, expanded consciousness will replace that which is being removed. With your consent now, breathe, receive, and allow. Yes. This healing will also assist others who have skin issues and also weight issues. This will facilitate healing in those areas as well. Breathe, receive, allow. As always, it's only as is uniquely appropriate. and only ever as is for your highest and best, and the highest and best of all, with harm to none.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, we have time for maybe one or two, possibly more. Go ahead. Yes?
I would like to learn how to show love to myself regardless of my relationship with cannabis or any other sacramental or non-sacramental substance that I have used or experienced using for escape.
Okay, good. So surrender, take some breaths and relax. And we listen when Source brings through. There are two issues here. One is the use of external substances to alter the experience for more pleasure or some form of personal gain. In many cases, this form of use could in some terms be called a misuse or abuse. Regardless, that is a factor. The second factor of what was raised here is the issue of self-love, self-care. This is an experience that all beings are remembering and relearning, and is a process. Both aspects will be addressed individually. The first will be the use of external substances for pleasure. Understand, cannabis is only one form of substance. Many other forms of substances that are used and or abused for pleasure or personal gain. When this becomes out of alignment or is used simply for a form of personal gain, personal pleasure, because somewhere there is a belief system and or point of view, etc., which may be that you are unable to have pleasure without these things, that becomes a limiting belief system which creates an experience much like the one which has been raised here today. Therefore, this situation, circumstance, as has been described, often leads to addictions. This is what will be healed and addressed at the core level. Everywhere you yourself as a unique individual believe and or perceive that you're unable to experience pleasure, happiness, love, enjoyment without some form of external substance, whatever that may be, this will be what is addressed at the root level. Wherever you've believed and or perceived that or bought into it, wherever you've allowed that to be true, will be now located and identified, including all thoughts, beliefs, ideas, concepts, points of view, perspectives, ideologies, frequencies, energies, vibrations, etc. Where you believed and or perceived that you can't have pleasure, joy, love, happiness, fulfillment without some form of external stimuli. And this will be lifted, removed, dissolved, taken away, transformed into love and light, replaced with the knowing that your joy, your happiness, your fulfillment, your pleasure comes from within, and through your connection with the divine source, which is emanating from within you and around you, and is always accessible to you, by you, within you, with and from you. These knowings and even greater source consciousness will now be instilled within you, within every cell of your body and being, and expanded out of you with this healing. Now, if you're willing to receive this and even more, please breathe, receive, and allow.
Yes.
Yes. Now, just breathing and noticing. In addition, a second piece of this healing. All addiction programming, addiction implants, addiction webbing, addiction patterns, addiction impressions, programs, implants, explants, conscious and unconscious, known and unknown, real and imagined, this lifetime and every other, including in between lifetimes, having to do with addiction, all hooks, cords, attachments, entanglements, and snarlings, having to do with addiction. Everywhere it was created by you, for you, from you, by another, everywhere you bought into it, allowed it, projected it, created it, co-created it, collaborated with it, all of it. will now be identified from within and around you, lifted, removed, dissolved, and taken away, transformed into love and light, that you never again need to recreate it and or perpetuate it, and also so that you have within you the consciousness of Creator of how to resolve it in your everyday life, to never again engage in it without your full and complete willing consent, that you have within you the consciousness to know how to disengage from it and or choose something higher and better that's within your total embodiment, that you vibrate in harmony with these truths and even greater in alignment with divine source, and that your truths are this truth of source. With your consent now, and as always, only as is for your highest and best, with harm to none, breathe, receive, and allow. Yeah. Breathe. Nice. This is like smooth like butter. Because now everybody's saying yes. When everybody says yes, it's effortless. The healing is effortless. Nobody's thinking, everybody wants it. This is when the healing gets really good, and unfortunately, we kind of have to start wrapping up. But let's just go to the second part. Self-love. Self-love and self-care is the new order. The new order is all about self-love, self-care, and care for others with harm to none. As you align with these higher truths and recognize that your entire soul's mission at this time, the highest and most important soul's mission at this time, is to self-love, self-care, and self-honor, and also offer and share and be of service to others in much the same way without detriment to the self. This will become the new norm. Therefore, Creator would like to provide to you and instill within you and within every cell of your body and being Creator's truth, point of view, and PUD on self-love, self-honor, and self-care. That your truth, your point of view, and your PUD will be aligned with the divine source on this topic area. That new knowings and awarenesses, tools, information, and consciousness will be expanded in and through you, your body and being, your life you're living, on this topic area of self-love, and that this moment, much like the lotus rising up, this will rise up from within you and around your entire life and your life experience. So while you may not know all the tools about self-love, all the challenges, all the tribulations about learning it will be removed from you, and all the expanded consciousness will be provided to you, awakened from within you, birthed from within you, that more will be revealed to you from this moment forward. All of it, with and from source consciousness, infinite consciousness, will be made available to you now. With your consent, breathe, receive, and allow. Let it be so.
Thank you.
Me too. Thank you. Nice. Just notice whatever you notice. Lady Mary waiting in late. Wait, she says, wait, Lady Mary, before you wrap. So Mother Mary and Kuan Yin, these are goddesses. The goddesses of compassion would like to provide to you and instill within you and within every cell of your body and being as well, to share their loving compassion with you, with the embodiment of each and every individual here. They're asking me to slightly step out of the way. Loving beings, we're here with you today. We bring forward the energies of compassion. For though each and every one of you, of course, have this compassion deep within you and have carried it within you and have shared it with others, in this now moment, even more, even greater compassion will be awakened within you, will be awakened from you. Your heart centers will open even greater to deeper levels of love and compassion. This will serve and support the greater good of all of humanity. As we provide this to you today and share it with you, we will also, with your consent, provide to all of your generations and all of your bloodlines what's often referred to by the channel as 777. 7 generations back, 7 generations into the future, And 7 generations on the horizontal axis will be blessed with this compassionate ignition, this compassionate awakening, this compassionate love that we offer to you, our brothers and sisters of light today. We share this in love, we share this in compassion, and if you're willing to receive this, we as benevolent beings in the non-physical realm, divine goddesses, will work with each and every one of your heart centers as you lovingly allow, working with each and every one of your heart centers as individual beings, and then instilling it through the 777 activation. All you need to give your consent is to place your palms in an upright position or over the heart center, either way that feels comfortable to you, to give your consent that it be done. Thank you. And just notice. Compassion for yourself of all the things that have happened, of all the experiences you've ever endured. Compassion for one another, that the gifts that you have given to the divine to experience and expand consciousness through your own unconsciousness has been so expanded that greater compassion is now available to all beings. I wish only to let you know, with all the fullness and the totality of our beings, how deeply loved, how deeply, fully, and completely loved you are. Now we're going to start to come out of this because I'd stay a lot longer, but I know we're really coming to the end of our time. So I just ask one last time if there's anything Source wants to do that I didn't hear or do earlier. And that was, there are many star family races now gathered, star family beings. This is the last gift of this evening, that this will provide to you, I hear, to bring one thing to your consciousness. This is star family races that are coming forward, but Source has said, let them come through. And what's being asked is that you bring one thing to your mind, one item of something that you would like additional clarity, wisdom, or expanded consciousness on, or healing. Whatever one thing to you as a unique individual. Source will provide healing. And your star family, the star family beings around, will also provide expanded consciousness, particularly as it relates to the ascension of you in your life, your living. And as those, it's only as is uniquely appropriate in this case, and only as is for your highest and best. So you bring this one thing to mind, and then just let it be, and allow this consciousness to be provided to you, and whatever healing is also meant to come through. Breathe, receive, and allow. And simply allow, yes, thank you, and yes,
Thank you.
please. If you could see what I see right now, I'll tell you. There are these magnificent beings of love. Many star family races, beings from our star families, and they're just almost like going around to each of you, almost like giving you a little electrical impulse or tap. It's energetic, and you may feel or see or sense or notice it, like a tap either on the shoulder or on the head, or like a whisper, a breath. Nonetheless, even if you don't notice, it's okay. Just notice yourself being here, breathing and allowing. Beloved ones, we greet you. Beloved ones, we are here with you. Beloved ones, we recognize you. Beloved ones, we've never left you. Beloved ones, we are you and you are us. Beloved ones, we honor you. We give thanks for for your awakening. We receive you, and we let you into our hearts, and we welcome you home. We are all at one, and so it is. Wow, Animal Kingdom here now too, but we're going to say no for now. We're going to say thank you for showing up, and I apologize that we cannot do more because there's so many beings. They gather. The more we do, the deeper we go, the more come, because they're called to our light. With that, we're going to say thank you, and we invite them to the next circle, which we know we will unite again in 2 linear days. So for now, we're going to come out of this, and we've not floated anywhere or gone anywhere, but just before you begin to come back fully present, let's just formally come out. So remember all that love you've been breathing in. This love is now encircling you. There's nothing for you to see, perceive, or do at this moment, but simply allow that this love, like a crystal ball, crystalline love, pure crystal love and light is encircling you and containing all the love and all the healing that you have received this evening, and all the expanded consciousness is surrounding you, encapsulating you in perfect divine love, union with all the healing, that it stays within you and is contained within you like safety, protection, but not from a place of fear, rather encapsulating you in this new frequency of love, peace, oneness. And this crystal around you is also surrounded by perfect gold. And this perfect pure gold is surrounded by perfect pure platinum. And this perfect pure platinum is surrounded by perfect pure crystalline. That all energies, frequencies, and vibrations which have served, supported, and assisted you today are permanent, shall be permanent, serving you, supporting you, and assisting you now and for all the days to come. Never to be drained or removed from you, simply to be amplified by future works that you do. This is done. Now, as you're breathing and coming back into your body, remember the breath of love, expanding the crown. Breathe some more love, filling up the brain. Breathe some more love, coming back into the body gently, lovingly, down into the throat. Breathe some more love. Feel the throat filling up with the love. Feel the heart. Breathe some more love in the heart, the chest. Breathe some more love coming into the belly. Breathe some more love coming into the reproductive center, feeling your body. You're feeling it once again. Breathe some more love coming into the tailbone. Once again, dropping the energy out from the tailbone into the center of earth. This time you know exactly how to do it. Drop straight down to the center of the earth, reconnecting with the crystalline core of Mother Earth, and calling that love now back up into the tailbone. This time start stretching the feet, the ankles, the legs, really feeling the body again. Rise it up from the tailbone into the reproductive center, moving the reproductive area, just coming back into the body. Moving the hips, breathing some love, moving the waist into the belly now, stretching the belly, letting it rise up into the heart center, chest cavity, stretching the hands, the arms, and now stretching the neck and the face and the head. This time wrap those arms around your body as always, and just give yourself the acknowledgement that you've always wanted and always needed from anyone. Just give it to yourself now. I love you. No matter what anyone says or anyone does, I love you. I have always loved you, and I always will love you, even though you forgot me. I love you. I'm here with you. I recognize you. I value you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. When you're ready. Oh my, not such bad timing then. Thank you. Thank you for saying so. How I would love to, I know we are wrapping up, we're at the end, but can I just have a little feedback? Is it okay if we go a few more minutes? How was it for everyone? Ow!
It was her.
Awesome. How was that for our new people? It was great. People who are brand new. Sammy? Did you feel anything different? Or
Yes.
Did you? Yes?
Yes.
Good.
Did you call him Sammy?
I called him Sammy. Why did I call him that? Do you want to know why? Oh, well, I think he goes by that somewhere. But anyway, it's a love name. To me, Sammy is love. I just feel like I love you. I just, it's affectionate. Why, do you call him that?
When I first met him. that's
Oh,
what
isn't that
we
funny?
called it.
It's a love name. He vibrates with it. Does anyone else want to share? Yeah?
I had asked, I see everything, but I can't hear. And so I always see like a pogo. It's like my mother. And so the whole time you were talking, I could see her lips, but I hear your voice. And so it was just like, so I was just watching, and then I saw everything that came in. I saw it around us, and I saw them touching people.
That's so nice. Thanks for sharing that, sir. The way to develop your hearing is to listen to silence. Practice listening to nothing. You're not even listening. You're not trying to hear. You're just listening to silence. Okay? It'll develop it. It's in my psychic development class. Anyone else? I love hearing. Yeah.
I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you, like, for being here. Like, thank you for all the words that I can't express, that everyone is feeling. I know they are, and if they're not, that's fine. If you want to join, you can. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow. Thank you. All right, so, yeah, thank you guys so much for having me, for sitting through it. I know Caroline is going to just give you some final words, but if you would like more of that, go for the membership. This is like a small sampling, and we didn't even get to do like activations or things. There's so much in there. I go for the membership tonight. It's 50% off, and it's never available at 222 except at live events. So, okay, I'm gonna let you take it
I
over.
just wanted to, first of all, thank you all. I mean, it was, you can feel it, all of us. We just put the energy here, and it was fantastic. And as you can see, you just sample a little bit of everything that she knows. I mean, what she knows is unbelievable. She was trying to rush through it to get you to know a little bit of everything. But it's so much more to her. And the same with the DNA's activations and the healings. It's just a lot that she has to offer. So I agree with her. And it's not just because she's here. The program that she has is very unique, very intense. It will get you another step forward to get it. So tonight will be a great opportunity. If you liked everything that you saw today and heard today, please tell your friends. The idea is that everybody benefits from this, not just us in your family. We're going to be at the Center of Light on Saturday and Sunday. We have flyers, information if you haven't heard. Share it with your friends on Facebook. You know, yes, I wanted to bring Lori back to actually do workshops that she can train us, right?
Yes.
If it's going to be animal communicator, if it's going to be the conscious that she's so in love with and she wants to bring us all into the level, I want for her to come back, but we have to have, of course, the audience to do this. So right now, it's a gift that she's here. She's not in New Zealand or in Australia, but we have to catch her, right? She's here, available to us, so take advantage that she's here. Come to see us again on Center of Light. On Saturday, it's going to be, again, animal communication, which is a little bit more than that. I mean, it's more than that.
It's a lot of psychic stuff, too.
Yeah. And then on Sunday, pretty much another example of this. And I've been with her since she was in Oklahoma City, and none of the events, although they have the same title, have been identical. It's something different there. So please bring your friends and family. I would love to bring her back to Majestic and have the whole area full. The more of us, the better that it is for our ascension and our healing. And we all benefit from that. So please tell your friends, Facebook and YouTube it, anything. And I hope to see you in a Center of Light. And if you have any questions about the programs, I'll be here to. Thank you so much.
Thanks, you guys.